Of the Great Southern Footy League. We are at Sounness Park for the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day. My name's Mark Foreman to call you through some of the commentary. It is North Albany versus Mount Barker today in a reasonably wet and damp day, although we have had some sporadic breaks in the rain, so hopefully it doesn't stay with me. Once again, we have the Great Southern Footy League Operations Manager, Ian Beck. Ian, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mark. How are you?
Well, thank you, and excited to say that we've got Darren Bennett, who is a league umpire here in the Great Southern Footy League, joining us as well for the call. Darren, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Great to be here.
And good to have you, and nice to have some on-field insight,
Yes.
I reckon.
Yes, I will try my hardest not to be an umpire with all of my decisions up here. So please forgive me, listeners out there. It's great, and it's a privilege to be here to watch this game. I think it's going to be a pretty even contest between the two teams here. North Albany up and coming. They've got some new ins this season, so their fitness will probably be their biggest test coming into the game. Same with Mount Barker. They probably haven't played a lot of football together this season, so it'll be a really good even contest, hopefully.
And it's before we do move on, it is good to have you here, particularly for this round. It is Umpire Appreciation Round.
That is correct, yes.
Do we have enough appreciation for umpires?
Well, yeah, there could always be more. But
I was going to say, we could have done it with you last night, Darren, because there was a couple of controversial calls in the women's grand final that I needed further explanation for.
No, I understand.
You just can never win as an umpire.
You can never win as an umpire.
Ian,
Yes.
how do you see today? I mean, as far as the games we've watched so far this year, we've had some reasonably one-sided games, but this, if you're looking at the ladder, shapes up to be a pretty good one.
I think so, and I think we watched Mount Barker last week, and I think if there's going to be a point of difference, it's going to be the class of people like Daniel Patching and Zach Jackson.
Yeah.
Patching kicked 4 last week, Zach kicked 3. And Zach has played before with Barker, so even though it was his first game back on a special permit, he has played with these guys before.
Certainly good to watch. Now, I think we're going to actually head out into the middle. You can see the two teams on your screen there lining up. And we do have a roving mic out there. So I believe the pre-game rituals are underway.
This week we play appreciation to the umpires around Australia. Community sport, umpires give up their time to make this game keep moving forward in the right direction. So can you please put your hands together for the umpires throughout Australia. Thanks, boys. Cheers. Good game.
And we are back in the box. A really, to be honest, a pretty important touch, I think, especially given the country over the last sort of month. We've seen some pretty horrifying umpire incidents, I'd say, Darren. And so, a touch like this is probably pretty important at this time.
Well, really, at the end of the day, if we don't have umpires, we don't have a game. When you boil it down. So I think it's always good. I mean, if you're a player, it's always good to shake the umpire's hand and say thanks.
Absolutely. Darren Bennett, he's a league umpire. He'll be with us today from the Great Southern Footy League. Ian Beck, the operations manager from the Great Southern, also with us. My name's Mark Foreman to take you through the call. We're about to get underway. Ian, you've seen something?
I just mentioned Kevin Cipisado making his league debut down in the forward pocket there, so congratulations to Kevin.
Fantastic.
Good spot, absolutely. It is third on the ladder, Mount Barker. They are 1-1-1. Win, draw, losses. Playing fourth, North Albany, 1-2. Round 4 of the Great Southern Footy League is underway here at Sounness Park, and it's Mitch Jackson who wins the tap, although the player he wins it down to is immediately wrapped up, and we'll have a stoppage. Nathan Crudelli laying the tackle there. Umpire throws the ball aloft. It is Jackson who wins it backwards again, although it can't be gathered by the Mount Barker player the first time, but now it's Dan Patching who has an early disposal in this game, and he finds McMahon, who can't quite hold the mark. Jaron Woods intercepts the footy in the middle of the field. It's sort of bobbling around a bit. North Albany trying to get control. They send it backwards now. It's chasing itself out to the boundary line, and it will beat both players over. I think that was Campbell McMahon as well, trying to chase it over, who... Ian, we were watching Mount Barker last week. He had a fantastic game too.
Very good, very consistent all game. 4-quarter effort from Campbell. Kicked a couple too. From
he
memory.
did. Yeah, you can't miss
Orange
him.
Boots.
Yeah, you can't miss him in the bright boots as the umpire throws it in. Mount Barker are going to be the first to go into the forward 50. It is a long kick. It lands 30 metres out. Good spoil from the North Albany player. That's Patching who's followed up. He just overruns the footy, and the North Albany player over it. Now a whole lot of players over him, although it spills out to the back. Mount Barker pick it up. I think that was that Wallinger who won the footy forward for Barker, but it's going to come straight back, and North Albany will run it out of bounds. A really good kick out in front of his teammate, and a good mark taken on the lead by, I think that's Callum Dixon. They share it by hand, North Albany, and a nice chip in field, although well done by Wallinger. He gets the fist in there. They look to turn it over, Barker. I think they might have. They've got the outnumber. It's picked up by Barker. Hand pass out. This is Hogg. He scrambles a kick forward, but it'll go no further than the North Albany player. Not 15. Credelli can't get a clear hand pass. North Albany struggling to clear this one. They get a grubby little kick down. It's only gone 5 metres. Pretty good pickup by the big fella there. And a bit of candy if you don't mind too. Sends a hand pass down the wing. And it looks like North Albany, well, they're out of immediate trouble. And they pile in, but here's Dan Patching again. He receives a quick handball, sends Mount Barker inside the forward 50. That's Zach Jackson. He shoves his opponent over. He looks to pick it up. He does. He goes one way, fires out a great handball. That's David Stone, but he can't quite gather. And I think North Albany will repel. The kick is sent on the far flank. Nobody out there, so it's going to be a foot race. North Albany will win it, and they do have a player off and running forward of field. I think that's Nick Barrow, who's made good space. Can use the footy too. He's corralled by Mitch Jackson, but he does get past him. Sends the ball into the middle of the ground, but not his best option. Dan Patching takes the intercept mark, and he flares it out wide. Hayden McMahon can't grab it. It is hot out early. Well, it's probably cold out there, but it's certainly hot around the footy, and we haven't even had a break yet. As North Albany pick it up, tackled by Campbell McMahon. Umpire says play on. Thrown to the ground. North Albany will repel. They go down the wing. Dan Patching once again puts himself around the place. Shares a hand pass with Mitch Jackson, who's immediately wrapped up. They're a chance here, North Albany, to try and win the footy further afield. They do win it out the back of the stoppage, although that kick has gone to sort of a 1-on-2. They're going to have to do well, North Albany. Both players go to ground. Umpire says play on. Barker pick it up, and they scramble a kick forward. Once again, there is an outnumber. They'll do well to win this one, Mount Barker, although Ben Kirkwood's done very well to sort of hold that footy up. And North Albany, I thought we might have had a stoppage. I need to have a breath.
That's a frenetic opening term.
My
It's almost
goodness.
like umpire appreciation round where they're saying, we're just going to do it all for you.
Yeah, exactly right. We do have a short stoppage. And North Albany win the footy. This is Kelleher Bird out wide, although...
The bearded hog.
Yeah, the bearded hog sends Mount Barker deep inside forward 50. The ball spills to the ground. Now they're a chance. There's a scrambled kick out. That's dangerous for North Albany. It is a turnover. Mount Barker share it around with the handball. Can't get a clear possession. They're just trying to get a kick forward. Here it goes now. The snap deep inside forward 50. Can't be grabbed by the North Albany player. Mount Barker's first on the scene. This is Campbell McMahon in those orange boots. Hand pass to a teammate who snaps around the corner, but there is a goalkeeper on the line. I think that is the captain there in Regan Lloyd. He takes the saving mark. Oh, how have you seen it, Ian?
I think just how hot it is out there is Sibasato, who's just 16, 17 years old, has come off for a rest already.
Absolutely.
Like, what is this game all about?
They share it around, and not too many calls to make early on, Darren Bennett.
No, I think the footy's slippery. That's the reason why.
Like a bar of soap
yeah,
out
like
there.
a bar of soap. So.
North Albany with a chance now. Dan Patching, the Mount Barker player, has to try and run and cover a few players as North Albany send the footy inside. They win it by hand, and now they work it forward. Loose player at half forward for North Albany. Can't quite see who it is, but
Jackson Kosh, I think.
Is it Jackson Kosh?
Yes.
And they trickle the footy inside forward 50. Player thrown off it. Here's Jaron Woods going in to try and win the footy. He does win a pretty good handball there because there's a few North Albany players just on the outer. Picked up there and taken immediately to ground. That was Nick Barrow again. He's been busy early, but they maintain the footy. That's Jackson Kosh sending it forward. Once again, Ian.
Patching,
Dan
disposal
Patching.
10.
Yeah, on fire early and not surprisingly uses the footy really well. He finds his teammate Campbell McMahon, pardon me, who also uses it very, very well.
Oh,
We've seen him put himself around a bit early, Nigel Penny too, and who... he was pretty busy last week as well. This is back-to-back Mount Barker games for us.
Yeah, Penny did some good things. He's got certainly a touch of class about him, although that was
not his best
not so
kick.
much. No.
Not his best kick. Umpire hurls the footy
Forgive
in.
him early.
It's flicked out the back. Good tackle again by McMahon. No, it wasn't McMahon, actually. There he is, standing up. One of the few players we can actually identify on that far side of the wing. Here he is now. He picks up pretty cleanly, although he can't get a clean hand pass away. And he didn't like the attention from North. I think it's been holding the ball.
Holding the ball, yes, that is correct. Kicks it into the man on the mark.
Oh.
You'd expect that more from Jaron Woods.
So a bit of a scrappy piece of play.
Yes.
And the ball trickles out of bounds. The young boundary umpire there hurls it back in. Rucks go at it. It's a tap to the advantage of Barker. They pick up but can't get a clean possession. It's going to be a repeat stoppage. This time a ball up. As I noticed the central umpire there, Darren's wearing a hat. Is that sun smart?
Well, yeah, it could be. I mean, they're both wearing hats. Maybe it's to keep the rain out of their eyes.
We have a hat sponsor.
Oh, okay. There you go. Mount Barker go inside forward 50. Zach Jackson can't quite win it. He goes back in. Socked forward by Ben Kirkwood. I think we've got a free kick here, and Zach Jackson's been taken without the footy.
I think Nigel Penny wanted the advantage rule there. It was definitely free.
He was keen on it, but Zach Jackson's been around the goals. Particularly, I think he was the leading goal kicker last year in the Great Southern Footy League.
He certainly was.
And obviously winning a Kleeman medal to boot.
And 3 last week, and I'm pretty sure we can put this down.
Oh, put it down. He'll kick from 49 metres.
Stop raining. The weather is... The ball's dry now.
49 metres straight in front, but he will have to give it a bit of a roost. The kick's on its way. It does have the legs. I think he's pushed it right. He has. It's a minor score. It's the first of the day, though, and it goes the way of Mount Barker. They lead this one. One behind. The Kangas yet to score. Frenetic early, Ian. Absolutely frenetic early.
Like I said, the rain stopped now, hopefully with a bit of dry weather footy, and first team to settle, I think, could play an important role in this first quarter.
Yep, as Nick Barrow accepts the kick in, and he goes further afield. Short kick, he finds a teammate. I think that's
Mitchell Pearce.
Yeah, Mitch Pearce. He sends it long. We're out on the wing, the far wing. I'd prefer if you could play closer. Can someone get a message to the players? Because we can't quite see the numbers. But it is North Albany who scramble the footy forward. Oh, heavy tackle. Player there taking the North Albany player to ground. No free kick doing. It's sort of bubbling around a little bit. North Albany is tapping the ball towards his own goal. And it's more of a stacks on now. Right on that 50-metre arc at left half forward for North Albany. And the umpire says we'll have a ball up.
Got Graham Ross in the goal square. He what did he kick 8 the other week?
Yeah, I think was that the game we were watching, or was that round 2?
Round 2.
Yeah, round 2. That's right. Because we had North Albany in the match of the day in round 1, the Anzac game, which is where I got to see Graham Ross. Although here's a chance for I think that's Woods.
That is Woods.
Who breaks 3 from the stoppage, and he kicks truly from about 35 metres out. A really good goal, an opportunistic goal, which it would seem they might be hard to come by today, but Jaron Woods with the first goal of the game. Not a bad little finish there, Darren Bennett.
That was very good. Straight off the ball.
Yeah.
Onto it, straight through the middle. Now, I umpired a game last year. I think it was round 1 or round 2 up here, and Zach Jackson did kick 3 points to begin with. End up kicking 11 goals 3.
Oh, okay. A story of resilience.
Yes.
Just getting back to last week, so Ross, about 35, kicked 8, and Peake, who turns 40 this year, kicked 8 as well. So a day out for the veterans in front of the goal.
Age is no barrier. A really good goal there from Jaron Woods, a very crafty player who kicks us underway with the first goal of this round 4 contest here at Sounness Park. It's Mount Barker trailing North Albany 1 behind to a goal. As Mount Barker send the footy forward.
Out to that wing, they love it out there, don't they?
Will Jones just boots it out there, and I think this is Nigel Penny. He's first on the footy. He steps one player, but sort of can't get past the other. North Albany win the footy. They send it forward by hand, and a really good follow-up. I can't quite see. I think that's a young player out there, and he's slung to ground. I think illegal disposal is the call there. No genuine hand pass, so the umpire says that is a free kick. Mount Barker will take it. Kick goes further afield. That's a really good kick. Mitch Jackson takes it in his stride, and he's got a player further afield. He shares it by hand pass. It might be
Stones on.
I think it's thrown out there, and right in the goal square. That's Campbell McMahon. Probably at the tip of the goal square. He takes the mark directly in front of goal. A nice passage of play. Tell you what, that kick to hit Mitch Jackson at half forward was beautiful. And Campbell McMahon finishes off the passage of play. He kicks Mount Barker's first goal to that northern end of the ground. They are 1-1-7 Mount Barker. They lead North Albany 1 straight 6 by 1 point.
Mount Barker be happy to get a goal on the board. They've done a lot of hard work. 10-minute mark before they get their first goal. So pretty even game.
Yep, and he's been a player who's put himself around the goals in the first few rounds this year, Campbell McMahon. And, of course, we made mention to that last week. He certainly put himself in the paper with an absolute high flyer.
I was umpiring that
Were
game.
you umpiring
Yes.
that game, Darren?
I actually was the...
Did you blow the whistle? 'Cause I would have been in awe. You know?
I was the umpire that stood there in awe. Yeah, and then I eventually did blow my whistle and pay the mark.
Oh, so you were the actual officiating
yes,
umpire for that
officiating
mark.
umpire, and it was a fantastic mark. Lots of bodies. He actually came in from the side, so... He
Yeah.
obviously timed it really well to get up there,
And
and not hurt himself on the way down.
Yeah, was it a hard landing?
It was a very hard landing, very hard landing.
North Albany, they win the footy from the centre clearance, and they pick it up inside forward 50 as well. A snap on
That's a good
goal.
snap.
Is that online? That
That's
is online. What a fantastic goal! I think
Spandenberg,
yeah,
isn't
Spandenberg. I think has kicked the goal. Apologies for the pronunciation. I might be Spangenberg.
Yeah, that is
Spangenberg.
correct. That is correct.
Spangenberg.
He's returned to North Albany this season, I'm pretty sure. So
There you go. Well, that was a fantastic finish. They won the footy quickly out of the centre stoppage, and he just picked it up, threw it on the right boot, and brought it back.
I'm writing it down early as a Wellington and Reeves contender for goal of the day.
I don't blame you. Thanks to Wellington and Reeves for their sponsorship for goal of the day, and I think Spangenberg certainly putting his name up for a contender there. So that is North Albany's second. They lead this one by 5 points. Umpire throws the ball back in the middle as Mitch Jackson wins the footy down, and with a really good follow-up tackle. I think he wrapped up his opponent there. Couldn't quite see.
that's Jiren again.
Jaron Woods, yep, last one up, who's also been pretty busy early, obviously kicking the first goal of the game too, as he overruns this one, but he goes back and picks it up. That was classy. They scramble a kick forward. They're going inside forward 50, or they don't. The ball's sort of spinning on its point, and it doesn't actually enter the forward 50. Mount Barker pick up. That's Pavlovich who scrambles the kick forward. Doesn't get any further than, I think that might have been Ravenhill.
Ravenhill, yes.
Who might be having a bit of a run in the ruck today, as well as up forward. Ian, we got to see him play forward in that Anzac Day clash, and he did look quite good up there. He's been known to kick some goals in that game as well. I think he kicked 5 the year before in round 1. As it's Mount Barker who send the ball forward about 20 or 30 metres, and it beats Nathan Credelli to the boundary line. Now, being new to the area, I'm told Nathan Credelli also a very good cricketer.
Very good cricketer, yes, and he actually plays for Mount Barker in
Okay.
the Cricket Association. So
There you go.
Yeah, state representative.
State representing. I think he's also been an All-Australian from the country champs as well. So no, he's very handy in both sports.
Yeah, multi-talented. Must be nice. Must be very nice. As we're going to have another stoppage on that far outer wing. Why have we not receiving any play in this close wing?
I was going to say, is there a gradient that we can't see, perhaps?
Yeah.
It's sloping down?
As Mount Barker win the footy, they go forward.
Oh.
Nigel Penny, he had an opportunity to take it in his stride, and he couldn't quite. And North Albany now with the chance to repel. They share it by hand, and well, couldn't quite get a clear kick, so they say we'll fling it forward with the hand pass.
Incorrect disposal.
Oh, pardon me, not with the hand pass.
That is correct.
And it will be a free kick to Mount Barker. They're about 60 metres out. They go
it's a good
inside
kick.
forward 50. It is a good kick. And this will be Campbell McMahon who takes the mark. 45 metres out, just right of centre.
Well, watch for Zach.
Yeah. And a player making space just in the forward line, but
Oh, he's backing himself.
well covered there by Kelleher Bird, North Albany.
Making
He
space,
is backing himself.
Bit of a Campbell Godfrey.
Yes, our man Godfrey last week. As McMahon will kick from about 48 metres, he sends it on its way. Has it got the legs? He's hit the post. He's hit the right-hand goal post.
It just smashed into the post.
It has. Certainly did have the journey, so it doesn't seem to be any issues making the
Hoping
trip.
North Albany switch play here. There's a man on, but they just refuse to come out this way.
You were sharp on that. Here they come. At least they've heard our cries to come out this close wing. As Ravenhill can't take the mark, the ball spills to the front of the pack. Mitch Jackson taps it forward for Mount Barker, and I think we'll have a throw-in around about 40 metres from the Mount Barker goal. They've sort of owned the last 2 or 3 minutes of footy, and we'll have a boundary throw-in here. An umpire appreciation round 4 of the Great Southern Footy League. Nice to have your company. And it's Mount Barker who pick up the footy from the tap. No clear disposal. It is kicked forward now. We're at the top of the goal square. North Albany pick it up. And they share the ball by hand. They go backwards. And now they go forwards. Just a clearing kick out there. I think Reese Hogg will be first on the scene. The bounce wasn't kind to him. And it's now a 2-on-2. Good tackle, although Hogg picks up the footy now. And he does find... I think that's Nigel Penny. He's dropped the mark again. Sort of had a couple of fumbles early on in this game. Here's Zach Jackson. Wins a hand pass. Can't hit his target in McMahon. And now I think that is Credelli who will repel from half back. He sends North Albany to the wing. And the ball's spoiled out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in. 15 minutes into this first quarter, it's Mount Barker 1-2-8, trailing North Albany 2 straight 12.
Hard to come off the bench at the moment. You've got to run about 200 metres.
You certainly do. And there is a North Albany player coming to have a rest now. He says, why is the ball stuck over there? That's what we're saying, as we'll have another ball up here at Sounness Park. And not a reasonable day in Mount Barker now that rain seems to have blown over, although it is a bit slippery underfoot. As Mitch Jackson wins the tap back. That's Dan Patching who kicks the ball forward. Somehow Campbell McMahon is all on his own.
He's all over it today, isn't he?
He is. 70 metres out. He sends the ball deep into the forward line. Mark can't be taken by Mount Barker. I thought he shrugged the tackle and then just stopped. And he stopped because we're having a boundary throw-in.
Was that Jackson?
Was that Jackson, was it? My apologies. As we have a boundary throw-in about 15 metres around from the Mount Barker behind post. Sort of falls a little bit short. North Albany slap it forward. That's Nigel Penny over the footy. He can't get a clean disposal. Slap back forward by Campbell McMahon, and we'll have another boundary throw-in. This time about 15 metres around from the Mount Barker behind post. We've played 17 minutes in this first quarter. Been reasonably even. Mount Barker potentially, or perhaps not making the most of their chances.
I think they need to start coming out to the attacking wing.
We'll get the message down, Ian. That's a better throw-in from the boundary umpire. Gave it a bit of oomph, and it's in a dangerous spot for Mount Barker. Zach Jackson picks it up. He's tackled immediately. They're not going to give him much space today, are they?
No. They'll be all over him today, I think.
Like a bad smell. Just keeps hanging around, though, Zach Jackson. He'll take his opportunities when they come. Joran Woods wins the footy from the ruck tap. They share it by hand. And the ball comes to this attacking wing. Although it's going to be Mount Barker who repel. First player there. I think that was, illegal disposal?
Incorrect disposal, yes.
Incorrect disposal. So the player penalised. I think that's Duffield, and it'll be North Albany with a bit of a shonky kick. This is Pavlovich who gathers really well. That was not easy. And Wallinger sends Mount Barker forward. Mark can't be taken. And the ball runs out of bounds. Just on the junction of the boundary line and the 50-metre line for Mount Barker at left half forward. They trail by 4 points. North Albany making the most of their opportunities. They've only been forward a couple of times, but a couple of really good goals. And they lead this one by 4 points as... holding the ball.
Yeah, so he actually stepped inside there. So that one step inside is actually your prior opportunity. So that's why that decision was made.
That's the voice of Darren Bennett. He is a league umpire here for the Great Southern Footy League. Good to have his insight. And we can let you know why calls were or were not made as Nathan Credelli played on quickly by hand pass. I assume maybe that was touched off the boot. And there's now a scrimmage about 60 metres out from the Mount Barker goal. We'll have another ball up. Deep inside the first quarter. It's Mount Barker trailing this one by 4 points. Umpire throws the ball aloft. Mitch Jackson wins the tap down. That's Reese Hogg. He gets a left foot kick forward. Lands about 30 metres out. That's Jackson leading to the footy again. He couldn't take it cleanly and it's thumped over the boundary line. We'll have another throw in.
It's getting closer to us, guys. That's probably one of the most positive things in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, there you go. It's nice. For those viewers at home, we're trying to call without binoculars here, so it gets a bit difficult when it's at that far wing as Ben Kirkwood sort of soccers the ball forward, almost taken by Regan Lloyd. A snap in the forward pocket. I think that's across the face.
That's a point.
And it's just a minor score for Mount Barker. Couldn't quite see who's snapped that ball on goal. Regan Lloyd couldn't quite grab the footy in the goal square, although he has it now in his hands to take the kick out. It's Mount Barker trailing North Albany by 3 points in this one. 20 minutes played.
Just for the listeners, we do have Brad Bootsman coming up at half time and assistant coach Gary Pope from Barker, so we can tell them to please switch play.
There you go. Look forward to having a chat to that, to those two coaches.
There's the debutant.
Here he is, and he does quite well. He shrugs a tackle, although Mount Barker fist it forward. Joran Woods on the footy. He slips over. No high tackle. Probably turned his back just at the last minute. Mount Barker send the ball inside forward 50. No mark taken. Well done by that Albany defender, North Albany, to keep the footy in front of him. And now they're out on the outer wing. And Kaya Gelay, is it Gelay?
Gelay, yes, Gelay. It is Kaya Gelay.
He's got a ton of space. He shares the footy by hand with a teammate. They're running in numbers. It's not the cleanest skills, but at least they're running to support their teammates. Although Mount Barker have done well to hold this one up. Ben Kirkwood applying a tackle there, and we will have another ball up. He did well there. He wasn't as clean as he could have been.
I don't think it was the smartest decision to handball it.
Probably not. But he did well to find space at least. A young player there for North Albany. They've got a fair few young players, don't they, Ian?
They do.
A team full of youngsters. They go forward here, pardon me, as they gather the footy. They share this one by hand. They're going to have a shot at... No, they're not. They're going to go for the pass.
Rossi,
Graham
yes,
Ross.
Rossi.
Graham Ross reaches up, stretches, and takes the mark about 20 metres out on probably just a bit better than 45-degree angle. And isn't this the story of footy? It's been probably Mount Barker's quarter, particularly for the last 7 or 8 minutes. But North Albany go forward, and they've got a chance to kick their third straight goal. And it's Graham Ross, a man who certainly knows his way around goal.
Demanded the footy too.
He did.
As veterans
He
should.
did. And probably a good kick from his teammate to kick it to him. He sets sail from about 25 metres. He loves it. They've got 3. North Albany, Graham Ross kicking their third. They are 3 straight 18. They lead Mount Barker 1-3-9. And certainly making the most of their opportunities.
And
A crucial goal, I think, coming in, getting into red time in the opening quarter.
yes, definitely. But Rossi did start his footy career in the back line.
Yeah,
he won a
did.
Kleeman medal.
He won the Kleeman medal as a back line,
Now,
as a backman. So
I'm told by a good friend of mine who also plays in the GSFL that, was that 2007?
it was
Or
a long time.
2008 that he
I
won
think
that
it was
medal?
a long time ago. Yes.
My goodness. And he's still kicking bags of goals at the other end of the field now.
He did come and have a kick with the Vikings in the Masters, and he was just way too good.
Yeah.
We sent him back.
You're too good for us, Rossi. Back you go. We're back in the middle of the ground. Umpire throws the ball aloft, and they shark it here, North Albany. They go forward. That's a fantastic kick. Mark taken 50 metres out from goal. And this is Ravenhill, who's under the
yes.
footy. He takes a good
Great
mark.
mark.
Pressure from behind, Pavlovich, and pressure from the front from Willie Jones. But it wasn't enough, and Ravenhill's taken the mark. This one is about probably a 45-degree angle, 40 metres out, and certainly, speaking of young talent, this man is one of them.
Interesting story about Lucas. He is a state basketball player.
There you go.
Went over to the national championships, I think in the under-17s a few years ago, and he was actually, I think he's 6'6". He was one of the smallest players there. So he's decided to... and he's hit the post.
Yeah, he slams this one into the post.
So he's actually decided to give his footy career a go because obviously he's a small basketballer, 6'6".
Now, am I right in saying that he is a state 16s footballer?
Yes,
Yeah.
as well, yes.
So another one of those multi-talented sports people. As Mount Barker through David Stone find themselves in the middle of the ground, they share it by
That's a good
hand.
kick.
That is a great roost, and this will be Dylan Gowdy, I think, takes the mark on the 50-metre line, and he sends the ball further afield. He finds a teammate. That might be Cameron Walsh, and they will have a shot on goal. So they've gone one end of the ground to the other, and although we were talking about Lucas Ravenhill, I don't think that the ball touched the turf, and they've got a chance to kick their second goal, Mount Barker. I think it's Cameron Walsh. He'll have a shot from about 30 metres out. Looks like he's going with a drop punt. It's a tight angle. He sends the footy on its way. Goal umpire
That's a goal.
just watches it sail over its head. What a fantastic finish from Cameron Walsh. He kicks a goal from the pocket, and he kicks Mount Barker's second. They move to 2-3-15 to North Albany 3-1-19. And they trail only by 4 points. And look, for a team that hasn't really kicked all that well at goal today, well, they've missed a couple of opportunities. It shouldn't be too harsh, but that's a fantastic finish from the pocket.
I think it's clearly drying out. The skill level's just increased dramatically in the last 5 minutes.
Well, that went coast to coast without touching
yes.
touching the ground. So certainly maybe an option for the Wellington and Reeves goal of the day, that one.
I've marked it down as a contender.
There you go. A nice finish from the pocket. Back in the middle. Mitch Jackson goes high, unopposed by his ruckman there. I think that's Michael Phillips opposing him in the centre.
There's a bounce. There's a debutant at the back.
There he is, and he gets a hand pass off. North Albany will go forward, and there it is, playing in front, resting up forward, Joran Woods.
The chaos ball.
And that's as every good forward should do, playing in front, Ian.
Yes, exactly.
Opportunistic. And look, like you said, good to see the debutant getting involved.
Sibasada, got a bit confused, I think, early. He was going, what is going on with this game? But had a rest, come back on, and look, I think if they pay attention and start coming out to this side, as we've said all game, goals will amount.
And that's exactly what's happened here. As Joran Woods slams through. I think that's his second goal of the day, isn't it? I think Joran Woods kicked there first, North Albany.
Correct,
so
yes.
certainly having a dominant quarter. We've seen him play in the midfield. We're watching him now. You can see him just go off your screen there, resting up forward. Although not sure it's much of a rest when you're in the thick of the action. He's kicked 2 goals and a really important one for North Albany, who once again extend their lead back out to 10 points. They're 4-1-25. They're leading Mount Barker 2-3-15. We're deep inside this first quarter. Umpire throws it aloft. And a really good tap. Mitch Jackson wins it down to his teammate. I think that was Duffield. He sends the ball inside forward 50. Socket off the ground by the North Albany player. He's saying no, it was an accident. Umpire disagrees. Tell us, Darren Bennett, how do we feel about that?
You know, I mean, he was running onto the ball. I thought that he was running onto the ball and he didn't deliberately kick. Obviously, he's kicked it off the ground.
Yeah.
There was no foot race. So
it's exactly where he wanted it to go.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah. So
I could go either way.
You could go either way with that.
One
Yes.
of those
there was no attempt to pick it up or to keep it in.
One of those contentious ones. Anyway, Ben Kirkwood is the recipient, and he's got a chance from the other pocket this time to kick a goal. He sends it on its way. Oh, it looked all right, but it is near side. So Mount Barker have, that's their 4th behind of the day. I think only one of them has been rushed as well. So 2-4-16. They lead, they trail North Albany 4-1-25. And we are deep inside this first quarter, so it's probably going to be a case of lockdown. I think we're being told 3 minutes to go, so we'll count right up to 30 as the short kick in is taken by Nathan Credelli. I'm sure that's a combination that's been seen over the years, Lloyd to Credelli. Oof. As Credelli sends it long, but can't get it past Darcy Wallinger, who takes the intercepting mark, and he'll send Mount Barker back inside forward 50 with a beautiful kick. Mark can't be taken. It's bounced off the chest of Dylan Gowdy, but Patching sends a hand pass forward. He might get it again here. Is he? No, couple of brilliant side steps. Zach Jackson strides into goal,
class.
And what a fantastic finish. He'd stepped a couple of players and said, have a look at this, and finishes with aplomb. What a fantastic goal from Zach Jackson. I tell you what, Ian, I know you nominate them, but let's put that down for the goal of the day so far.
I've got 3 contenders already in the first quarter. I think last week we were struggling.
Well, look, maybe we need to give 2 goals of the day because I don't think there's going to be a mark of the day in these kind of weather conditions.
You might be right.
I have got Graham Ross's early mark.
Yes, well, true.
I thought I'd go early.
Lucas Ravenhill's not bad either. He was sort of the meat in the sandwich when he took that mark, unfortunately, at the post. But a really good goal from Zach Jackson there. You can see why he's a Kleeman medalist. A couple of side steps and a great finish. So narrows the margin to 3 points. Deep in this first quarter. It's Dan Patching in the thick of the action again. He's wrapped up by Joram Woods. And just as they're about to go forward, North Albany, they are intercepted. And I think we'll have a repeat stoppage here. Umpire gives himself a hug and says, give it to me. And either team would do well to score from here. We've got 15 seconds left in this first quarter. Oh, pardon me. A minute 15. Oh, yeah. So that's my odds. The scoreboard's too far away. I should just look down to my right where it's right there on the monitor. So there is still very much time for a score as the umpire throws the ball aloft again. Mitch Jackson to Duffield. That's been a combination that we've seen 3 or 4 times today, I think. Brody Duffield. I don't think he played last week. Can anyone confirm that for me?
I can confirm that he did not play. Yes.
Correct. Fantastic. Yes. I'm glad. So, yeah, certainly a good addition to the Mount Barker midfield, it would seem. But it's North Albany who go forward. What a fantastic pickup that was. That's Lee Pavlovich at the last line of defence, and he takes it through. Who was that pickup?
Drew Willocks.
Drew Willocks. There you go. Wilcox? Might be Wilcox.
Wilcox.
There you go.
Yes,
that was really, really good play. As Dan Patching finds himself with the ball on the defensive 50 with that raking kick. Here is that man Duffield we talked about, who runs to the 50-metre line. He has a shot on goal, sends it on its way.
Yeah, he's got it.
And he's drilled it. What a fantastic finish from Brody Duffield, the man we were just talking about who didn't play last week. I thought for sure that we didn't have time for a score at the end of this first quarter. But a beautiful kick from Dan Patching sent them from D50 to almost attacking 50. He found that man in Duffield to finish off with a beautiful goal. And that will see Mount Barker with a lead at quarter time, 4-4-28 to, we've got 4-1-25. Although the scoreboard has 4-2-26. So we'll confirm that shortly, scoreboard. So it is 4-2-26, North Albany, they trail Mount Barker 4-4-28. And I think we're just waiting for the ball
We're
to
waiting for the football.
come back to the middle of the ground. And it's all trivial because it will be quarter time when it arrives back. What's going on here, Darren Bennett? Is this an umpire thing? Like, we need the ball in the back of the middle of the ground.
The thing I like about umpiring, well, there's two things about umpiring here. One, you'll always do 30-minute quarters. I don't think I've ever done a 26 or a 27-minute quarter. However, when the ball gets lost in the bush, you get to have a rest.
Very good.
You know, so.
And the umpire now goes to throw the ball up. And that is quarter time here at Sounness Park. It is the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day between Mount Barker and North Albany at Sounness Park. It is the Bulls who lead this one by 2 points. They're 4-4-28 to North Albany 4-2-26.
The quarter was a tale of two halves, really, wasn't it? The first quarter, no umpiring, just let it go.
Oh.
I
thought I was going to pass out.
Just pack to pack, and then it seemed to settle down. And when the teams went long, that made all the difference.
Absolutely, and some really good finishing. We've seen some, to be honest, we've seen some brilliant goals at both ends. But it was North Albany making the most of their chances early.
I've got 4 contenders for goal of the day.
You've been busy, Ian.
Yeah.
What did you make of it, Darren, from an umpire's perspective?
Look, I think with the conditions that we have today, the umpiring's been good, but the footy's been even better, and that's what we're here to watch. So as long as I think it's game on. I think it's going to be close. The wind seems to have dropped maybe a little bit, whether or not that picks up as the game goes on. But I think if the ball remains slippery, I think we might be in for a good game.
And as you can see on your screens there, just as the Mount Barker boys break into their lines, it is drizzling again. So I think that might be off and on throughout the day. But Ian, we've seen, well, this is our 4th game this year.
Yes.
And this one is, honestly, this has been a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, we said it was going to be close, and that I thought Barker, if there was going to be a team that win, it was players like Patching and Jackson, and certainly when those guys got hold of the ball and showed their class, that was a difference. But North Albany certainly making the most of their opportunities when they go forward.
We're going to take a very short break here at quarter time, Sounness Park. Give our voices a rest. Well, probably enough. You've probably heard enough from us already. But it is the Bulls, 4-4-28. They lead North Albany 4-2-26 at quarter time here in the Great Southern Football League. Round 4, Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance, match of the day. Welcome back to Sounness Park for the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day here in the Great Southern Football League. It is round 4, and it is the 4th place North Albany taking on the 3rd place Mount Barker. And, well, given their positions on the ladder, that's exactly what we've seen early on. It's a tight tussle. Mount Barker lead this one by 2 points.
Very entertaining first quarter, hoping for much of the same.
Absolutely. That is the voice of Ian Beck. He's the Great Southern Football League Operations Manager. My name's Mark Foreman. We've also got Darren Bennett, who is a league umpire here with the GSFL, to take us through and give us some insight into the action as we are underway, as you can see on your screens, in the second quarter. And it's Jaron Woods who sends North Albany inside forward 50. They'll be the first to have a chance at attack. Oh, it's getting slippery out there. You can see it on your screens, or you might not be able to see it all that clearly, but the rain is getting heavier.
Straight out to the far wing.
Yeah, and that's not going to help. If it's raining and the ball's on that far wing, we might have a hard time.
While it's on the far wing, Darren, when they come in at quarter time, the umpires, do you have a chat and sort of help each other, assist out? Or
yes, I think it's always important to do that.
Yep.
Maybe run through a few scenarios. Yep. Make sure you're in the right position. That's the main thing with umpiring as well.
Okay.
And that you're just backing each other up. You want to be consistent as an umpire.
Do you ever talk, Darren, about contentious calls? If a player misses a goal, they're going to be down on their luck, and they'll have their teammates come in and say, "Don't worry, mate, next one." If there's a contentious call, do umpires talk about that?
Maybe not at quarter time. You want to back them rather than question them. Yeah. But yes, during the week when we have our training and we're able to kind of maybe role play a few things and talk through a few scenarios, and it's always good. We're always improving as umpires.
There you go. Darren Bennett, he's a Great Southern Football League umpire. Unfortunately, a little bit injured at the moment, but the umpire's loss is our
nice
game.
Kick to penny.
Yeah, that was a beautiful kick. I think it was Pavlovich who kicks the penny, and now Zach Jackson in his stride.
Ooh.
I think that I was going to say Duffield. Can't see who that is. I think it is Duffield who bowls his player out the way. He shrugs one, but the tackle slipped high, and it will be that man Brodie Duffield, who, as we mentioned...
Yeah, we've been told on good authority he's going to have a shot.
There you go.
60 out. I love it.
Into the breeze.
Yeah. He'll kick from about 55 metres if he is to do that.
He's pretending to have a look. Oh, now he's done the shoot.
Yeah.
Just to make sure every lead is covered.
Absolutely. Again,
touch of experience from Duffield, I think.
Yeah, that's a little forward trick, isn't it? As trying to look at the way that the rain's coming in, I think the breeze almost might be slightly into him. So he'll do well to make it here. He's called to play on.
Yes.
Sells some candy. Gets to 48 metres. Gives himself some time. And he's just missed to the right-hand side.
Do you think that was always his plan?
Yes, I do, because he kept going very close to the man on the mark.
I feel like we should have known that.
Yeah, yes.
we weren't to know as North Albany exit, and the mark's taken by I think that might be Travis Conn, who takes the short kick in. It is Travis Conn. He sends this one down the middle. Dan Patching's there,
great mark,
but he can't spoil ahead of Jaron Woods, who takes the mark on
his
knees.
Here they come.
And they will come out to this broadcast wing. Not the cleanest kick, although it is cleaned up by, I think that's Nick Barrow. He sends a ball inside the corridor. It's a dangerous place for the footy to be. Kelleher Bird taken in a strong tackle, and that is holding the ball. That was hot. Josh Davenport from Mount Barker will take the resulting free kick.
Davenport also didn't play last week.
A couple of new faces as he sends a risky kick inside, but Lee Pavlovich takes the mark, and he'll probably send this one out to Reece Hogg, will he?
Hogg's
There
loose.
he is, as you call him, Ian, the bearded one, and he takes it in his stride. There's another bright booted player who's about to take this.
Willie Watkin.
It is Willie Watkin. I think it's just the soles of his boots that are bright. They look black now. Willie Watkin has the ball 70 metres out.
Patching.
He sees Dan Patching make a lead, and why wouldn't you honour it? He's been very, very good in the first the first 4 games of this year. Although that wasn't good at all. He's kicked it straight to the man on the mark as Duffield comes in. He's taken in a strong tackle by his opposing number 11, Nick Barrow, leading from the front, as always, for North Albany, and we will have a ball up. That was an absolute shocker from Dan Patching. I'll apologise for that, singing his praises. And right on cue, kicks it straight to the man on the mark. Mitch Jackson rises highest from the ruck. In fact, he was the only one to rise, and it's North Albany who go forward. Mark can't be taken.
Jackson Kosh.
Yeah, Jackson Kosh is just bowled over by Reece Hogg.
Nice
although he
pickup.
couldn't pick up the
And
footy.
gone.
That looked like a legal disposal.
That is correct, yes.
Yep, the nod of approval from Darren Bennett, league umpire for the GSFL. That's a shocker of a kick as well. And once again, Nick Barrow, he finds himself in the thick of the action. Here's a one-on-one. He sends it long to Lucas Ravenhill. Can't take the mark. It spills to the back. Mount Barker will be first to clean up. And another good smother there. So we're seeing a bit of forward pressure. Lucas Ravenhill getting in the way of that exiting kick. And it will be a throw in 45 metres out around the boundary, for North Albany.
Similar start, similar opening to the first quarter. So hopefully things will steady in the second half and we'll see some goals.
You're right. It has been a little scrappy. Probably something to do with that rain coming down, although it does seem to be easing up now as Mount Barker win the footy from this clearance. Although a really good forward tackle applied. Jerome Woods sneaks a hand pass out to a teammate. Mount Barker will repel. That's a long high kick into the centre of the ground. It's 2-on-1 out there. North Albany are first to the footy. They win it. And this is Nick Barrow again. The captain sends a ball inside forward 50. Mark just couldn't be taken as Hogg tries to go off the ground. He couldn't make contact. He'll be first on this one. He goes off the deck again, but it gets no further than the North Albany player. I thought it was number 16. My eyes aren't that good.
No, I think it might be number 10.
Number 10, Mitch Woods. As North Albany go long and strong from the boundary line.
That's a goal.
What a
Who
goal.
was that?
That is a brilliant kick. A fantastic finish from the North Albany player. He's running towards us, and he's, as we often see, he's coming off for a break.
We'll let you know when we find out his number.
He's only got another kilometre to run.
Yeah, and if he could do us a favour and run off backwards
That'd
so
be
we
great.
can see who
is it
that
Woods?
is.
Is it Mitchell Woods?
I don't know. He's got knee strapping, if that helps.
Yes, that doesn't help with the
He's
numbers.
knackered.
Oh, 20. Is it Travis Conn?
All right.
I'm calling it Con.
Let's go with
Just
Travis.
shout out the window.
Let's go with
Great
Travis
goal.
Conn. As, knee heavily strapped there as well. But he's let
There
go
we go.
of
It
that
is Travis Conn.
confirmation. He's
Yes.
let go of that footy from about 50 metres out, right on the junction where the 50-metre line meets the boundary. And the umpire, the goal umpire, just watched it and said, yep, that is a great kick. As he puts North Albany in front. They lead this one by 3 points. We're back in the middle. As Mitch Jackson, we see him follow up a lot from the ruck. He wins a hand pass to Dan Patching, who sends them to the forward 50. And a mark couldn't be taken, almost, but not quite, by the Mount Barker player. Ball overrun by Kelleher Bird. This is Ben Kirkwood. Nice little chip kick forward to find Zach Jackson. He kicks on goal, and he slams it into that other post. I think we've
three
seen
posters already.
Yeah, we've seen that left-hand goal post. In fact, we've seen that post hit as well, haven't we?
We have.
3 posters to that end. So they're getting peppered.
Should have put that in a multi, boys.
And Zach Jackson couldn't quite finish off there for Mount Barker. As the exiting kick, Kelleher Bird
Duffield
was under that one. He couldn't quite take the mark. And, we have seen Brodie Duffield around. So can anybody tell me anything more about Brodie Duffield? He didn't play last week. We're trying to get some inside knowledge here. But he certainly had a really, really strong start to this round 4 game. As he's down on his haunches there, you can see him in the foreground of your shot.
He obviously doesn't know we're talking about him right now.
Yeah. Get up, get back in there.
You're on camera, Brodie.
As the boundary
there he
throws
is.
this one in, and he spills this one. I think he's tired. He's done a lot, and right in front of the North Albany player in Phillips, the ball goes across the boundary line. Dan Patching, ever the opportunist, wants an out on the full. Good luck, Dan.
Yeah.
Don't think that's going to happen. As the boundary umpire will throw this one in. We're about 65 metres around from the Mount Barker goal.
Nice
as
knock.
Wallinger sharks it. He shares it with Penny, who does a fantastic sidestep. He crosses the 50-metre arc, sends it inside the forward 50. Mark not taken by the North Albany player. Hand pass out to Kelleher Bird. He sends this one down the line. It's a really good kick from a young man to find his captain in Credelli, who sends another great kick down the line. Couldn't quite be taken there on the lead. That was Ben Dickinson, and we'll have a throw-in with Reece Hogg applying the pressure to ensure that it is a neutral footy. We've played 8.5 minutes in this second quarter. It's Mount Barker trailing North Albany by 2 points. A tap over the back. Darcy Wallinger's first on it. Tackled very, very well by Nick Barrow, and he's taken to ground. And we'll have a ball up.
Who do we have umpiring today, Darren?
Today we have Tim Edmonds, who's actually
yes.
come down. He's an Albany boy. He's
Yes.
living up in the city at the moment.
Okay.
I thought that was Tim, because he is involved in cricket.
In the cricket, yes,
Yeah.
heavily involved. I think he's a coach with one of the WACA grades up there.
Yes.
And Daniel Till, who is umpired the grand final last year
Okay.
with us.
Tim, former journalistic hound down here.
There you go. North Albany go inside 450. We've got another stoppage, so probably a good time to ask Darren, what are numbers like with umpires at the moment?
Look, we're very strong in boundary umpires. I think we've
Yep.
got, with our juniors, we have up to 40 boundary umpires training with us during the week.
Right.
League, yes, that's fine. It's just filtering down from Colts downwards. But Ryan Tyndale does a great job managing us and making sure that we're fit and ready for most weeks. So yeah, most games we will have 2 GSFL umpires, which is good.
Yeah, fantastic.
I've been assured by Ryan that it's the best numbers they've had in years. So
yeah,
there you go.
Which is good to hear. We're hearing a little bit at the moment.
Until
about,
round 3 and we're all injured.
yeah. We're hearing a little bit at the moment about a shortage statewide, so it's good to hear that the numbers in the GSFL are going well. As North Albany have the footy on their half-forward line. A nice sidestep there.
That's Con.
I think that was Con again, the goal kicker earlier. He's back on the ground. Although they can't quite get a clear disposal here, North Albany, and it is repelled by Mount Barker. They go in the middle of the ground. Jackson can't take the mark, although he receives a handbar pass. He's quickly tackled, but he puts it out in front of Penny. That's a good option. We've seen him be very, very sharp today, and Nigel Penny follows up. He's tapping the ball to himself. I think he'll run out of space. A high tackle, maybe?
No, it was out of bounds.
He was out of bounds already?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I do love the Jackson hand passes. We noticed this last week where he does the super coach hand pass.
Yeah,
he'll loop it up and then he'll make sure he's there to receive.
You are right onto that, Zach Jackson. Make sure the stats are high. As unopposed, David Stone taps it in. Oh, no, pardon me. It was Mitch Jackson who tapped it into the forward 50. North Albany repel it, and it's in the middle of the ground. Very well done again by Nick Barrow.
Barrow wheels around.
Yeah, and he's just socketed forward, taking the territory, but no further than Reece Hogg. He shares it with Darcy Wallinger. He gets it back, Hogg, and kicks further afield, although well intercepted.
Yeah.
That's a good mark, pardon me, by Nathan Shanhan.
Plays on quickly.
He does. A
Barrow.
very heavy collision, and Nick Barrow
Not happy.
takes a brilliant mark, and
hang on.
he gives Wallinger a bit to go on with.
stripped
Wallinger
him. That's
doesn't
50
like it.
metres.
And I think that's experience there from Nick Barrow. And he's drawn a 50-metre penalty. And look at that. He's first out of there. He was first in there, gets the 50-metre
the way.
penalty. He's first out
Man
of there.
of many experiences, or a man of many 50 metres, maybe.
Absolutely. And the umpire marches him to probably about 35 metres out. He'll be on an angle just left of centre. Certainly a gettable shot for Nick Barrow, and he used all his years of experience to draw the 50-metre penalty. He sends the shot on its way. It's coming back, but not quite enough.
One thing we've noticed in the this is our 4th game, like we said, that's probably the most amount of biffo we've come across.
There has been a bit of feeling, and I noticed those two as well, Darcy Wallinger and Nick Barrow sort of going at it over the last 5 minutes. And it was certainly Nick Barrow getting the better of that one, but he couldn't convert. So it's North Albany 5-3-33 leading Mount Barker 4-6-30. The kick out from Mount Barker is not great. It's intercepted by Jalay out there, and so it'll be North Albany to go forward into the pocket. Ross can't take the mark. A good lunging spoil by, it might be that man again in Wallinger out there. Pavlovich, was it? Pardon me. Pavlovich with the spoil to cause a boundary throw-in. 10 metres around from the right-hand behind post. So Mount Barker with a good opportunity, North Albany with a good opportunity here to set something up as Mount Barker share it by hand. And they will send a clearing kick now. And there is a man on his own. That's a fantastic kick out of defence. Mark taken by Patching, who sees a player in field. I think that's Jackson. He takes the mark. Zach Jackson, last year's Kleeman medalist, with a beautiful kick. Didn't have to break stride with his teammate there. And they do have a man further afield. And this is our man again, Duffield, who takes the mark in the forward pocket. I think he's been moved out of the midfield because he did too much.
Yeah.
So you move him forward, and he's making a nuisance of himself as well. That was a brilliant bit of play. That kick from Zach Jackson showed you exactly why he is a Kleeman medalist. The skills were perfect. And then they had the overlap runner. And
Duffield was always going to have a shot. If he was going to have a shot from 65, then when he gets inside, then... And
absolutely. You can see our cameras are right behind this one.
That's
from
right.
Duffield. And Brody Duffield from about a 45-degree angle will kick on goal. He aims it at that right behind post. Goal post, and he brings it back nicely. That's a good goal from Brody Duffield. That's his... Has he kicked a goal? I think that's his second.
Yep.
Of the day, and we have another lead change. Mount Barker 5-6-36 to North Albany 5-3-33. What a fantastic game we've got on our hands. Ian.
Yeah, when Barker go long, people like patching when they're switching play to Jackson, some of those long kicks, every time it's come off. So I think the message will be getting out there, go long and kick over the lines, I guess.
Yeah. And I should make mention as well, we've got a close game here. We also had a close game in the reserves just before with Mount Barker kicking a goal with, I think it was with 2 minutes to go, to put themselves in front, and they held on to win the reserves game by, I think it was 5 points. So a really good day of footy so far here at Sounness Park for the round 4 match of the day, as Mount Barker win the footy out of the middle, but North Albany will be the ones to send it back. This is with a nice little side. Yes, Spandenberg again. Actually, I think it was Phillips with the sidestep, and he was caught by Patching, who sends Mount Barker inside forward 50. He finds Zach Jackson all on his own. Not sure how that happens.
To have a shot.
Yeah, and he runs to about 45 metres, but he puts it across the face of goal, and it is just a minor score. So they move to 5-7-37, the Bulls. They lead North Albany 5-3-33 by 4 points. Here on the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day. Lovely to have your company live streaming the Great Southern Footy League, Ian.
Here we come. We're coming out the wing, just on cue. And beautiful kick to Credelli.
Absolutely. Nathan Credelli takes the mark. Again, didn't have to break stride. Campbell McMahon stands the mark in front of him.
That's 50.
Yeah, I think he said move it on, not play on. So Campbell McMahon will be penalised 50 metres here. And Nathan Credelli can waltz down. This will take them inside the attacking half at least. And a man who certainly can use the footy well. He assesses his options down the field. As you can see, it's his team trailing by 4 points on that scoreboard just on your screen. He sends them inside forward 50. The ball goes long. It does get to the back of the pack and off the deck. The goal is kicked. North Albany have got their 6th. I think that is Phillips who kicks their 6th goal. And we've got another lead change here at Sounness Park. 16 minutes into this second quarter. Mount Barker 5-7-37. Now trail North Albany 6-3. 39. We've got a game on our hands.
Costly 50 metres too. I mean, that was from the kick out.
That is correct, yes.
Next minute. So, Darren, when you're doing the 50, what's your style? Do you count it out as you're running backwards, or
no?
Do you measure?
No,
you
generally you want to know the measurements of the ground that you're umpiring on.
Sure.
So generally, obviously, it's 50 metres. In the middle is probably about 60 to 70. So, the square's 50 metres. So that's kind of how you would measure it out.
And do umpires at all ever count, like as they're running steps? Or because this is what I've been told, and I would find that very hard to do.
No, you generally lose it around 9.
Yeah.
You have to know your strike.
Don't be shouting out at the umpire. 7, 8, 9. And oh, damn it, I've lost it.
Exactly right. We're back in the middle of the ground here at Sounness Park. It's absolutely a fantastic game.
Oh, nice pick
round
up.
4, yeah, beautiful pickup. That looks like Zach Jackson's moved into the middle of the ground. He finds a teammate. He calls for the hand pass. He'll have a shot on goal now from about 47 metres out.
Oh, another
and he's
point.
missed again.
He's racking up the points.
How many is that now, Becco? Do you know?
Points.
Yes.
I think Jackson.
I think he's kicked 3 behinds, which, Darren, that's a figure that you mentioned he
Yes.
kicked early last year before kicking 11. So North Albany will be wary of that. Maybe just stop him getting the ball full stop would be handy, as Nigel Penny and Patrick Barnett battle it out on the left half forward flank for Mount Barker, and neither can get a clear possession. The ball goes out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
Unsure of when it was such a positive kick out last time, why they continued to suddenly go to the
it resulted in a goal when they came
dead
this way,
flank.
didn't it? As North Albany win the footy from the stoppage, and they're the ones to go forward.
Oh,
we got a
Falcon.
Falcon!
Yes.
There you go. First Falcon of the day. Can we
Here
get
we
a
go,
sponsor?
Kevin.
Can we get a sponsor for the Falcon of the day, Ian? Let's work on that.
Forward.
It's North Albany with the footy though, and they have a clear shot on goal.
Koshy.
Player in the goal square was
That's a
Jackson.
free.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jackson Kosh was in prime position.
And he's received a free kick for a push. I didn't quite see that.
Well, I think
He
the
grabbed him, yeah.
Yeah,
He
and
did grab him.
I think the Mount Barker player running back with the footy
He didn't have a lot of choice either,
Yeah.
I believe. It
Yep.
was a good kick, and Kosh, in the right spot.
Jackson Kosh right in the goal square will kick North Albany's 7th goal and their 2nd in a row. So we won't have a lead change this time, and North Albany extend their lead to 7 points. We've played 19 minutes in this second quarter as Jaron Woods comes off for arrest. North Albany holding a 7-point lead, and they've probably been pretty good value for it. Although we've seen the ball ping from end to end, and it's certainly been a really good game.
And again, very similar to the first quarter. Really scrappy early, and then it's, evens out and plenty of space to be found.
So So it's Ravenhill and I think that's David Stone going at it in the ruck in the centre of the ground. A nice, good little blind turn there from the North Albany player. I think that was McDowell. Well, he couldn't win the footy, but who do you reckon does? Oh, a bit of biff after that one was sent forward by Dan Patching. And there's a scrap for it. It's Zach Jackson who wins the footy. Yeah, shares the hand pass. He gets it back as he so often does, and he finds a teammate who can't take the mark. Really good pressure there from the North Albany defender. I think it was Kelleher Bird, and he jumps to his feet, and he now has the footy in his hands. That's not his best kick, and it's coming back. Dylan Gowdy gathers the footy for Mount Barker, and he sends his left foot kick inside forward 50. He finds a teammate. That's a fantastic entry.
Skinner.
And it is...
It is young Skinner, yes.
Skinner who takes the mark about 40 metres out, just left of centre. Alex Skinner and Dylan Gowdy with a really good entry. It was fantastic defensive play from the young player. I think it was Finn Kelleher Bird, but his kick unfortunately couldn't match, and Dylan Gowdy did well there. Zach Jackson offers a lead. That's not going to happen as Skinner sends the ball on its way. It's going to fall short. And that's a really strong mark in the goal square. Yeah, that's Credelli taking a mark, leading from the front in the pack. I dare say that would have to be our mark of the day contender so far. There's a fair few players vying for that one as North Albany have it in the back pocket. As a huge attempt at a mark. I think that was Phillips, but he couldn't drag it in. Hogg now has the footy, shares with Patching. This is Jackson. All he can do is send a hand pass forward to Dylan Gowdy, who scrambles a fortuitous kick forward to McMahon. And Campbell McMahon will have a shot from the forward pocket about 25 metres out, 45-degree angle. Luck's a fortune when you're playing in front, Ian.
Phillips nearly wrapped up the retrovision mark of the year right then.
Yeah, absolutely. On cue.
And the umpire, I'm glad the umpire didn't pay, a free kick because it was such a realistic attempt.
It was. It was.
As McMahon hangs this one out to the left. So it's a minor score for Mount Barker. As they narrow this margin to within a kick, it is 5-9-39 to North Albany 7-3-45. We've played 21 minutes in this second quarter. On the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day, we've certainly got a cracker for you.
Oh, terrible.
That is not a cracker of a kick
Falcon.
out, and it's another Falcon. Campbell McMahon should have wrapped that one up. He breaks a tackle, gets his hands free, and all he could do was send it to the boundary line. A good tackle from Joran Woods. And insufficient intent paid by the umpire. It's a bit of feeling as we can sort of hear when they're on this near side. We can hear the players sort of yelling at each other down there. As I think it was Credelli sends a kick forward for North Albany.
That's a free.
Reece Hogg.
Oh, Hogg not happy.
Yeah, wringing his hand out, kicking in danger. Oh, actually, soccering with intent to hurt, I think.
I don't know if that's the actual rule. I would just say kicking in danger, yes.
I think they changed the name to it.
Yes, you have to like the AFL.
Yeah, back with the flight of the footy. Dan Patching, what a good effort. Couldn't bring it down. Nigel Penny's over it for Mount Barker. And I think that's Joran Woods for North Albany. Nothing doing. We'll have a stoppage.
Sun breaking through.
Yeah, and you see that with the shadows on your screen there. It's a beautiful day here in Mount Barker as Patching taken again in a tackle. No, that's not Patching, actually. Patching's there standing up. Who's his teammate there?
Duffield.
That's our friend Duffield.
Yeah, I should have known. Umpire throws the ball up again. That's David Stone in the ruck. It's just sort of bobbled around and belted forward for Mount Barker, but it's belted back by North Albany and Nick Barrow, with the kick forward. And the footy ends up at half forward for North Albany. I think we'll have a stoppage. No, we have got. It's coming out of there. And it's scrambled forward, although it's coming straight back. That's Nathan
Attempted
Credelli.
barrel there from Credelli.
Yeah, Credelli with the barrel forward. It's gathered by Mount Barker. They're first on the scene. And good forward pressure by North Albany to keep it in. I think we've got a high tackle. I think it's going to be... Nope.
Sparker.
Taken without the footy. So it'll be a free kick to Mount Barker in their left back pocket. 23 minutes played in the second quarter. It's a 6-point lead to North Albany as Mount Barker send the ball long. Dan Patching sets himself. Can't bring it down. A good tackle by Credelli to hold this footy up. We'll have a ball up 50 metres out, probably 55 metres out from the North Albany goal. It's sort of been Mount Barker's game for the last 5 minutes. So a good opportunity in attack for North Albany as they try and pick this footy up. Nothing really doing. It's that man who went with the absolute hang, Phillips, earlier. was hanging around to try and win the footy for North Albany. Nothing doing. Big scrap of players. Umpire's picked out a free kick. It's going Mount Barker's way. No, it's not. He's pointed the wrong way. He's fooled us all. Well, he's fooled me. It'll be a North Albany free kick. I think that's Jaron Woods who'll take it.
Was that anything to do with the...
Didn't quite see what it was.
I think that was actually holding. So he was
Okay.
obviously holding. Sometimes, in a pack like that, a player like a Jaron Woods would be held off the ball, so
Yep.
he can't get to it. So
There you go.
Just before that, there was a sort of a half slam tackle. What, you guys get trained on the recent rules with...
Yes,
yeah.
we do. I mean, yes, we're always. It's important, as we say at the start of the game. We want you guys to finish the game the way you started.
Yeah,
you
sure.
know.
Yeah.
So it is very important that we do protect the player,
Yeah.
especially in those sling tackles. Sometimes that motion can still be there. If you allow the player to land on you, that is actually a safe tackle.
Yeah.
There you go. So Mount Barker win the footy. They send it out to left half back, but it looks like it's coming straight back. I think we're a long way out there. Trying to get the numbers of the players on the screen. The ball beats Jared McDowell over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in. It's 65 metres around from the North Albany behind
And
post.
about a kilometre from the commentary box.
Yeah, a bloody long way, I'll tell you that much. I think we'll have this one recalled as the boundary umpire sort of didn't quite give it enough oomph. So have another go. Take a couple of steps in. I think that's exactly what he does. You can see the scoreboard there. It is North Albany leading this one by 6 points as David Stone goes up for Barker. But it's smashed forward by North Albany and they grub her a kick forward. We're in the right forward pocket for North Albany and it beats all players over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. 25 minutes played in this second quarter. Round 4 of the Great Southern Football League, and we have got a great spectacle to bring you for Match of the Day here at Sounness Park. As the ball's thrown in, there is a huge scrap of players there. You could throw a blanket over about 16 or 18 of them, I reckon.
And it's very interesting you can't see it on camera, but how many North Albany players are back past the 50, which is quite good the way they set themselves up there.
Yep. Yeah, and they've got a spare as well. So I can't quite see who that player is. Just waiting at the top of the 50 for that repelling kick. As Mount Barker player sliding in there. Oh, a couple of players sliding in. Almost could have been a free kick for perhaps contact below the knees. Nothing doing. We'll get to your umpire about that one shortly. As handball's flicked out from the North Albany player. It's turned very scrappy, which is surprising because you'll see we're in full sunshine. Still a bit wet underfoot.
Well done, Jaron.
Yeah, it's the class of Jaron Woods who rips the ball from the stoppage and he finds a teammate at right half forward who then goes further afield and very well worked from North Albany, and the mark is taken by the captain, Nick Barrow, who has had a shot on goal and in fact he kicked that goal from that 50-metre penalty earlier. Wait, did he?
No, he didn't. No,
he missed it. My mind's playing tricks on me. He's got another opportunity here to slam one home. He sends it on its way. That looks pretty good. Shepherding on the goal line is allowed, and that is a goal. So Nick Barrow has kicked truly from about 45 metres out, just right of centre, and a good captain's goal. Darren, I'm going to go to you for that. That looked the goal line shepherding. Talk me through that.
Well, I think sometimes when there's only two of you, and you're a good 30, 40 metres out, and you're looking at the person kicking. Is he going to run around on the mark? Are we going to be calling play on?
Yep.
But yes, you do want to make sure it's hard to be everywhere, and sometimes
Do you know what,
decisions
though?
like that don't happen.
Watching the AFL, they sort of seem to. It's almost anything goes on the goal line when you're shepherding a goal through. They seem to have a lot lighter leash as Darcy Wallinger picks it up for Barker in the middle. He's dispossessed immediately. It's North Albany who will win the clearance. And Jaron Woods with that.
Don't argue.
It was a don't argue. It was quite crafty, but he could only find a Mount Barker player, and it's now Dan Patching who has it on the wing. He will send Mount Barker inside forward 50, and Duffield, off his chest, and he juggles it, takes a mark. And Brody Duffield's got the footy again. He must be out of puff because he was in the midfield early on and he's now seems to be a sole forward.
And based on that, I think the Duff man's going to have a shot.
Yeah, the Duff man.
But tell me, Ian, you're a full forward. You're taking the glory from there as well, no?
Oh, yeah. I never handball within 100. So.
No, exactly.
From a similar position to where he had a shot at goal, just probably a few metres further in. is Brodie Duffield. He'll kick from about 50 metres out. He sends this one on its way. It's not a good one.
I think halfway through he was deciding whether he was going to play on or not.
Yeah, exactly right. I reckon Regan Lloyd has seen enough of that on the mark. He wouldn't be fooled. We've got 1 minute left to play in the second quarter. That one out on the full from Duffield. So both teams with a chance to score if they're quick. As this one sent
Patching.
Yep, to right half forward for Mount Barker. Dan Patching picks it up. Couldn't take the mark, follows up well. He sends it to the top of the goal square. Oh, at the back of the pack, chasing that one is Skinner, who can't quite keep it in, and it goes out of bounds. I think regardless, we've got 30 seconds left. Is that right? We do stop at 30 minutes in the Great Southern Footy League. So the boundary umpire throws it in. We've got 20 seconds. Mount Barker, the only ones who can score now, you'd think, as North Albany share it by hand. A repelling kick out to right half back. Mark can't be taken by the North Albany player. Good follow-up from his teammate, and that should be enough to see us through to half-time. I think North Albany have tied that one up well enough here at half-time in the Great Southern Footy League, round 4. Mount Barker versus North Albany at Sounness Park. It is the Bulls trailing 5-9-39, North Albany 8-3-51 by 2 straight goals. And we have seen a really, really good game for this Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day, where it is a 12-point lead to North Albany at half-time. Darren, let's start with you. How have you seen it? It's been a pretty good game of footy,
I think it's been a very even game. My concern would be North Albany aren't winning a lot out of the ruck. So yes, they got the on-ballers, but I think they need to probably be a little bit stronger in the ruck in the second half. I don't think they've won many taps.
North Albany certainly more efficient going forward. When they have gone forward, Barker kicked a lot of points. Probably had certainly more of the possession.
Yep, and look, you look at North Albany's score, 8-3-51, certainly making the most of their opportunities. 11 scoring shots to 14, yet they're in front. So making the most of it, which is great. And lovely to have your company wherever you're listening around the place. Live streaming round 4 of the Great Southern Footy League match of the day. It is North Albany versus Mount Barker, and I am pleased to say that we've got the North Albany coach, Brad Bootsman, joining us this afternoon. Brad.
How are we?
Well, how are you? You must be going all right.
Yeah, it's a pretty close game.
Yeah.
Good battle in the midfield, and I guess a few wasted opportunities by both sides. But it is a bit wet, but played in good spirits.
Yep, absolutely. A bit of feeling in the middle of that quarter. You notice that?
Oh, well, you know what? It's two sides. I reckon they're about equal, and it's a good matchup so far. But both sides are playing a little bit off each other, I reckon. So hopefully we can sort that out.
Now, Brad, we're up in the timekeeper's booth. Is there a strong wind that we're unaware of blowing onto the far side of the ground?
I can probably say there's no wind. I think the tricky wet conditions. Hopefully, second half might clear up a little bit, but both sides haven't really worked that out just yet. So hopefully we can sort that out.
Brad, I spoke to you just before our round 1 match this year, and you were telling me sort of about the makeup of your team. A lot of young kids in it. Yep. What's the? Tell us about a few of them and the hopes for this year. Surely, I would assume getting some games into them and some experience at league footy.
Yeah, like we've had, like Lucas Ravenhill's probably a really good talent. Drew Wilcox, Kaya Jelle, and the likes, and we're playing another 16-year-old today, and Kevin Sibasato. So. Yeah. It's more about, we got games into them last year, and we saw some really good results out of that, and we're sort of seeing a little bit of benefits.
And Sibasato come through the Colts? It was playing good footy early, and it's been rewarded, or what's?
No, we just, I don't think he's been playing outstanding footy.
Right.
But we just saw an opportunity to this week, because we sort of lacking a few people up forward through injuries, but we just saw that we could give him an opportunity, and he's done a couple of good things, but he's still got a lot to learn.
So happy at half-time with so far?
I am. I'm happy where the scoreboard's at the moment, absolutely, because we're winning.
We did say you...
Coaches are never happy.
We did say you've been very efficient, though, going forward, we thought.
We have, yeah. I'm not happy with the way we're defending.
Okay.
We're sort of letting a few easy balls get out the back and
And what's the story for the second half? Bring it out to this attacking side in front of us?
Well, hopefully we can keep the ball in our front half a bit more. I think when the ball's going in each other's front halves, we're getting opportunities to score, and that's both sides.
So how do you fix that up? You said you weren't happy with the way you're defending. What message can a coach give to his team? mid-game to fix that up?
Well, for me, it's the midfield. Our midfield aren't really moving from stoppage.
Okay.
So what I'm seeing is a couple of our guys just walking out of stoppages where I want them moving. So they might be thinking that we're going to win it, and away we go. But I'd like them to defend first and then work the ball out from there.
Well, Brad, we'll let you go and yell at your midfielders then, but we really appreciate you coming up here and having a chat with us at half time. Your time's much appreciated. We know you don't get much of a break.
No
Thanks
problem.
for coming up, and best of luck.
Keep up the good work.
Brad Bootsma, coach of North Albany, who is kind enough to give us his time at half time, which is fantastic, and he's probably on his way to yell at some of his midfielders to get back and keep defending. Ian, I like that you slipped in there. Can you bring the ball to the close side of the ground so we can see a little better?
I thought it was the obvious question. And we'll see if Brad takes that up.
I found that interesting, to say, well, we're not defending well and let's fix that up. And just to get that, particularly from a former AFL player, to sort of see, where we're going wrong.
And it's also really nice of Brad to give us some insight and share some time, especially, going into half time. So thanking you for doing that.
Absolutely. And we'll take a break here on the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day. We're here at Sounness Park, round 4 of the Great Southern Footy League. It is North Albany 8-3-51, leading Mount Barker 5-9-39 by 12 points. We'll see you back shortly for third quarter action. Welcome back to Sounness Park for round 4. It is the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day here between Mount Barker and North Albany. It is North Albany 8-3-51 leading the Bulls 5-9-39. It was probably a half of missed opportunity in a way for Mount Barker, and North Albany making the most of theirs. My name is Mark Foreman. Lovely to be calling you through the action. I've got Ian Beck, the Great Southern Football League Operations Manager, with me, as well as Darren Bennett today, who is a league umpire with the GSFL. How have you seen it, Darren?
Yeah, it's been a great half of footy, and I think we're in for a great second half. And I think the fitness will start to play its role, and hopefully the rain will keep away. Maybe that ball will keep dry.
Absolutely, and the team on screen that you can see there, Mount Barker, will be looking to kick a little straighter in this second half. As I said, North Albany certainly making the most of their opportunities. We're not far from getting underway, and we have, by the way, we've got Wellington and Reeves sponsoring our goal of the day, and we've certainly seen a few crackers as well. So we'll go through them later on as well, and we will take you through a few of the better players shortly when we get a break in the game. But players are making their way out to position now for the second half of, like I said, round 4 of the Great Southern Football League. And speaking of elsewhere in the Great Southern Football League, perhaps a surprising result at I think
Half time.
Yeah, I think it's at Railways Oval. Railways trailing by 8 points over Sharks back in Albany. So grand final rematch there. But we're away here at Sounness Park in the second half, and it is Mount Barker who had the early opportunity. Lucas Ravenhill, snap on goal for North Albany. It's going to fall short. Pavlovich in the goal square saving it. Pardon me, I thought Mount Barker were going to be first on that footy, but not to be. Lucas Ravenhill snapping on his left foot, but couldn't get it past the ever-dependable Lee Pavlovich, who runs this ball out of defence, and he kicks long out to Zach Jackson, who can't take the mark. Ball spills out the back. This is Mitch Woods for North Albany. He sends a hand pass to Joran Woods, who steps 1, steps 2, runs away from Zach Jackson as well, kicks the ball inside forward 50. Once again, Lee Pavlovich there for Mount Barker. And he takes the relieving mark.
Nice to see Mark Bucci did listen to it straight off. Yeah. Beautiful bit of play right in front of us.
Absolutely, attacking out this wing as Mount Barker have the footy in the centre of the ground, and they've got players on. This is Nigel Penny out there, a fantastic pickup. That's better. We saw a few fumbles early on, but he was sharp there, and he hits that man again in Brodie Duffield, who has played unbelievably well today. He's certainly been one of our better players, I suspect, Ian.
He just seems to like to lead out to one of the pockets. Each time he's marked it in a very similar position.
Yeah.
And Penny making good space out there.
Yeah, and the skills from Mount Barker there were sharp. So it is Brodie Duffield who will have the shot from about 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle on the furthest possible pocket on our broadcast today. He sends the ball on its way. It looks like a good kick.
Yeah.
It's a great kick.
Great kick.
It's a fantastic kick from Brodie Duffield. He's kicked a goal for Mount Barker. They draw that margin ever so slightly closer. 7 points, 6-9-45 to North Albany, 8-4-52. Brodie Duffield, what a goal.
That's a third from the Duff man.
Wow.
He is on fire, having an absolute day out. Look, am I right in saying that he was playing midfield early on?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct.
And
he's not the tallest target down forward either.
No, but he certainly provided a presence and thrown himself around to draw this margin slightly closer. 7 points it is that North Albany lead this one.
Interesting chat around the hot chips at half time. Neither team all that happy with what was happening.
Yeah. Interesting. You can never be pleased with coaches, can you? As we're back in the middle, Darcy Wallinger over the footy for Mount Barker. He slaps it forward, desperation on hands and knees. Although no further than North Albany, a strong tackle from Zach Jackson, and we'll have a ball up ever so slightly on the Mount Barker side of centre here at Sounness Park. You can see the scoreboard there has North Albany leading by 7 points. Dan Patching kicks the ball forward, and again, Lux of Fortune falls on the chest of Campbell McMahon. Must have been touched off.
Must have been touched off the boot, yes.
As he was wrapped up immediately, so he's forced to hand the ball back to the umpire. We'll have a throw up. Looks like Mitch Jackson there in the ruck for Mount Barker, and the North Albany ruckman almost shepherded out of it. Nigel Penny scrubbers a kick forward no further than Joran Woods, who repels the attack from North Albany. Shared by hand, although cut off by Campbell McMahon. Lee Pavlovich has found himself a bit of space at the back of the pack. He says, nope, don't argue with me. He sends a really good kick to Reece Hogg in the centre of the ground. Had to kick around his body too. It's classy from Lee Pavlovich. There's a player all on his own at half forward. I think that, Mount Barker have it anyway. They send the footy inside forward 50. Couldn't quite be gathered there by David Stone. And the ball's sort of bobbling around a bit. North Albany trying to feed it out the back of their pack. Picked up by McMahon. He's taken immediately. Almost slung in the tackle. And it's North Albany who go back, although that one's intercepted as well. So Mount Barker have the footy. This is Luke Moncrief, I think it is. Luke Moncrief, who hits Dan Patching. We know he can kick it a long way. He winds up from 52 metres. He sends it long, and he sends it straight.
Great goal. Great kick.
That's an outstanding goal from Dan Patching, and that's not the first time we've seen on our screens here for the GSFL match of the day. Dan Patching kick a long, straight ball. He did it a couple of times last week. He's even done it today.
Bootsy would be furious. Patching left alone there, and we knew as soon as he got it, he was going for goal. Absolutely. It's one of the better kicks in the GSFL, totally.
It's such a raking, penetrating kick as well. He's kicked that one from 52, and he's certainly cleared the goal line with ease. And the margin is now back to a point. As you can see on the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day on your screens, and we have got a cracker for you. It's 1 point through 5 minutes in this third quarter. Lucas Ravenhill into the ruck for North Albany. He's up against Mitch Jackson. Umpire throws the ball aloft. It's Jackson who tries to tap it down to his namesake, who now has the footy, and he'll share it with Dan Patching. And he shares it back again. You are right, Ian. He's good at that, although he runs out of options. And that is holding the ball. So really good pressure there. And I think that's our goal kicker from early on.
That is Con.
Yeah, that is... yes, it is Con. He sends a long ball to half forward.
That was actually a really clever kick. He almost called the player to lead.
Yep, ball shared. This is Credelli who sends the ball inside 50. Ross can't take the mark. There's the debutant who sort of shuffles the ball forward for North Albany. Credelli again. Hand pass out. Shot on goal from the forward pocket is just out to the right. I think that was Nick Barrow, who couldn't quite kick truly. So some brief relief for North Albany. They extend their margin from 1 to 2 as Lee Pavlovich takes the ball from fullback. He hits a teammate all on his own. Kobe Williams takes the mark. And this is Campbell McMahon on the far wing. As you can see, well, I don't know if you can see on your screen, but the rain is starting to sheath down a little bit. And it's pretty cold out there, to be honest. Here, when I was getting my chips at half time. Lucas Ravenhill with the footy. Can't quite find his teammate. He'll go in again. He picks it up. He's agile for a I was going to say big man, a big boy. And he sends the ball down the wing. It's North Albany who have the outnumber here. They've got a little 1-on-2.
Debutant.
Yeah, little fumble from the debutant in Sibasato. It could be costly. Although there seems to be a few red jumpers hanging around the place. Dan Patching coming in for Mount Barker to try and even the contest. North Albany eventually win it out the back, although they just can't.
It must be slippery.
Yeah, it's like a cake of soap. They just can't quite get a true grip on it. And now Mount Barker pick up the footy. It's a 1-on-1 in the goal square. Ball goes
has
long.
he touched it?
Was it touched?
Yes.
It was touched. Touched on the line. You can see there when we zoom in on that passage of play that the rain certainly is getting a little heavier here.
And again, that umpire rule where you can basically do anything you want.
The
goal square.
Anything goes on the goal line. North Albany go long, although Mitch Jackson in with a spoil.
Good tackle.
Yeah, Nigel Penny applies a really strong tackle there. Mitch Jackson, he's athletic for a big fella. He goes in. David Stone scrubbles a kick forward. No further forward than North Albany who can repel this one. Although Reece Hogg's under it. A good spoil there from the North Albany player means that this one stays in contest. Reece Hogg goes again. Ball slips free. It does. It does look like a cake of soap down there. Spills out the back, and we'll have a boundary throw-in.
I'll be happy to see that out. Now, one rule, Darren, that I sometimes don't like is the tackle and the ball spills out from the tackle. And so often it's called holding the ball.
Holding the ball, yes.
Yeah.
And look, I think, we're not AFL players, are we? We're here to watch some country footy.
Sure.
And normally, especially when it's wet, you do actually have to adapt as an umpire to the conditions because you'll find the ball gets slippery. People, that first connection, or that first bump, that ball is going to come out. So, yes, in my books, that would be play on.
Yeah, and beautiful. We just have a little chat there and allow Mark to eat some chips.
Yeah.
That's a stitch up. That's a stitch up. I was trying to get
Here we
away
go.
with
It's
that.
back in the goal square.
Anything goes.
Send a long ball forward from Mitch Jackson, and that's just bounced through for a behind. So a very important behind because that levels the scores here at Sounness Park. Round 4, Great Southern Football League match of the day. Lovely to have your company. It's 7-11-53, the Bulls to North Albany 8-5-53. 18 scoring shots to 13, yet we are all tied up as Lucas Ravenhill takes a mark from the kick-in.
Starting to get a bit of it, Ravenhill.
Yeah, certainly put himself around early. I suspect he might have been moved to the middle permanently. Well, not permanently, but this quarter to try and get himself around the footy.
It's certainly working.
As Campbell McMahon grabs it,
Jackson.
and it's no further than Mitch Jackson. The clearing kick from North Albany. I don't know how this keeps happening, but Zach Jackson's got himself some space again, and he's entering forward 50 kick. Chase mark dropped there by the by the Barker player. I thought he got a knock to the head there. He had sort of stayed down a bit. He looks a bit proppy. I think that's our man Duffield. But North Albany take it away. We're on the far wing. It's a 2-on-1. A 3-on-2 out there. So Mount Barker will probably win this footy, although North Albany doing very well to stay in it, and a smart soccer forward. In fact, it's gone 50 metres forward, even out of bounds. Graham Ross with a snap around the corner. It's a race to the goal square. We've got a whistle off the ball.
Out of bounds.
And it did trickle out of bounds. About 45 metres around from the left-hand behind post for North Albany, who did very, very well to tie the footy up on that far wing. They were outnumbered, and sometimes wet weather footy, Ian, you've just got to keep sending it forward.
That's right. And with the women's footy, Darren, they brought in the rule where there was no soccering, and then after 4 rounds they rescinded the rule.
That is correct. Yes.
Was you umpiring at that time?
I had done one game.
Was that really hard to?
It is very hard. I mean, especially in wet weather football. You know, quite often the girls or the players would like to kick it out just to give them a bit of a foot race.
Sure.
And we were finding that, you know, players, if they don't know how to protect themselves, they're going in with their heads first, and they're hurting themselves. So I'm glad that the GSFL changed that rule.
Yes.
I dare say logic prevailed there. As North Albany go inside forward 50, but Lee Pavlovich, he's been a thorn in their
thorn in their pressure.
Yeah, thorn in their back line. Repels this attack again, and the ball's trickled out of bounds on the junction of the 50-metre line and the boundary. We've played 10 minutes in this third quarter, and we are all tied up.
This is amazing.
Mount Barker 7-11-53, North Albany 8-5-53. This is an absolute cracker for the Great Southern Footy League Round 4 match of the day. As we're on the left half forward line for North Albany, they can't get a kick forward.
That's a great pickup.
Yeah, really good pickup from that player there. And it's Reese Hogg for Mount Barker who's trying to stop this attack. A little soccer forward from Zach Jackson, who accepts the sort of player running into him there. I thought that might have almost been prior opportunity. Another strong tackle there. Campbell McMahon penalised for tackling that player without the footy. I think that's another young.
That's a Gillet.
It is Gillet. With the headgear as well. He's put himself around about. As Brad Bootsman was talking about, one of those good young players at North Albany, as he sends the footy to half forward. It's picked up by North Albany off the ruck contest. Chased after by Mitch Jackson, who I think
happy
will
to see
this
that
one over the line for a boundary throw-in. Very athletic Mitch Jackson for a big man, Ian.
He's showing some good things. And one thing I noticed with athleticism is Travis Conn, who's done some good things as a tall guy.
Yeah, and we did see that.
And there he is on cue.
Yeah, we saw that brilliant goal from the boundary as well.
That was Ravenhill.
Yeah, Lucas Ravenhill in the ruck now for North Albany. Picked up by Jaron Woods, 50 metres out. He sends it. This will land about 30 metres out from goal. Mark almost taken there, but not quite. And it ends with Pavlovich, who sends the ball into the middle of the field. They all sort of looked at each other, the Mount Barker players, but they've got numbers to recover. Dan Patching will send a ball across his body.
Gowdy.
Yeah, Dylan Gowdy. He's been a little bit...
This is our man, Con.
Quieter, yeah, right on cue. There you go. Con again. He sends a long kick inside forward 50. A good spoil, but picked up by North Albany. Snap on goal. It's not going to have the distance, but Nick Barrow's in the goal square. He recovers. I thought for sure that would be sockered through, but Graham Ross is sort of... Well, look, we'll say that there was some good defensive pressure from the Mount Barker player, and he sort of overrun it.
I like the umpire's blind spot.
yeah. Anything goes on the boundary line. As Dylan
Gets
Gowdy...
very fuzzy once the ball goes into that square. Very fuzzy.
Dylan Gowdy received the footy at half back, and Mount Barker's now at half forward as they go. A heavy hit on the kicker there, but Campbell McMahon takes the mark on the 50-metre line. They've got players going forward. Here's Zach Jackson. Good defensive pressure causes the ball to come to the ground, and North Albany can work it out. I think that's David Stone out there for Mount Barker, and that might be our man again in Gillet.
McMahon again.
Yeah, I think it was Gillette who initially did well for North Albany, but Barker picked up the footy, and Campbell McMahon finds the ball in his hands again, just under that scoreboard, which has his team behind by a point.
I'll be
13
watching
minutes.
Jackson. McMahon's quite often likes taking the lead from Jackson.
He does, but Campbell McMahon looks like he's only got his sights set on one thing here, and he kicks from 48 metres. This one might fall short. In fact, it's not online anyway. It is a behind to the right-hand side. But once again, that ties this game up. 7-12-54, Mount Barker. They are at loggerhorns with North Albany, 8-6-54 as the ball comes in. Lucas Ravenhill, the target again. He can't take the mark.
Recovers well.
Yeah, he does. He follows up very well for a big boy, and he sends a left-footed kick down the wing. North Albany with a chance to sort of go forward, but Reese Hogg getting in the way. A little toe poke. How will the umpire see that
The
one?
umpire will see that one.
Yeah, we've seen that before, but he says, nope, that one wasn't too hard. I'll throw that. Throw that in and we'll have a stoppage. It's a boundary throw-in around 70 metres from the Mount Barker goal. Pretty tight contest, Ian.
Yeah, and weather cleared up. I thought it was setting in there for a while. So, look, we're nearly halfway through the third quarter, and I think some crucial 5 minutes of play coming up. As you said, scores are tied.
Very heavy hit there from Dan Patching. He makes his presence known.
Woods with defend.
Yeah, they don't argue, and he hits the debutant. This is Sibasato, receiving the kick from Joran Woods on the lead.
Oh.
He sends a risky kick into the middle of the ground, but that's a really
Gillette.
strong mark. Well done to Gillette. He's had a couple of good moments this quarter. He sends his kick to right half forward for North Albany. Players go up. Pavlovich can't take the mark. Joran Woods first on the scene. He hits a leading target in front. Really good spoil there. Ross couldn't take the mark. Picked up by, I can't quite see who that player is. He's taken a ground. I think it might have been William Jones, and we'll have a ball up. Just quite hasn't been Ross's day, has it?
No, it was a good lead, but geez, it was a good spoil as well.
Great spoil.
Certainly was. Umpire throws the ball up again. Here's Ross now. He's
Rossi.
a goal from the ruck contest.
That is...
It's gone through.
He let it go through.
It's gone all the way. Well done from his teammate on the boundary line. As Graham Ross, right on cue, I said he'd been reasonably quiet today.
Yeah.
He says, well, stuff you.
He did a tomahawk,
He
didn't
did. I'll take it out the ruck. I'll snap on goal, and it sort of floated its way through. That's a brilliant goal. And North Albany established a 6-point lead, 9-6-60. North Albany. They lead the Bulls 7-12-54. We've played 16 minutes here in round 4 of the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day. And I dare say we might have had a goal of the day just there, Ian.
Yes, and I had Rossi down early for a mark of the day, so yeah,
Wow.
there we go.
Double award winner.
Big day out for the
He wants the clean
veterans.
sweep.
So, Ian, best on ground so far. Have you got anybody in mind?
I'm thinking... I like what Patching's done when he's got the ball.
Yeah.
Breaking lines. Zach Jackson, of course, done some good things. And look, the Duffman's kicked 3. So.
Duffman's kicked 3. My pick so far would probably be Joran Woods. He's been here, there and everywhere. Patchen was a bit quiet in the second. Joran's got a lot of the footy and he's quite effective with it, which is what we look for as an umpire.
Yeah, I also like Nick Barrow's game. Solid captain's game.
Yep, and Con. The
Yeah,
man with the taped knee, he seems to be here, there and everywhere, playing off half-back, I think he is.
Well, you do well to take goal of the day off him. But, yeah, certainly great. Joran Woods, he's been a pleasure to watch. And like you said, Darren, he's used the footy really well. As Mount Barker go forward, there is a 2-on-1 in the goal square. So that play, I think that's David Stone. Couldn't quite take them. No, it's not David Stone. Pardon me, that's the ruckman.
That's a goal.
That's
that
the
Mitchell?
ruckman, Mitch Jackson. He couldn't take the mark, but he followed up brilliantly. And that's that athleticism we've been talking about. When the ball hit the deck, he looked like a rover. And he snapped around, kicked truly, levelled the scores up again. 8-12-60, Mount Barker to North Albany 9-6-60.
Well, it's good to see both the big men kicking goals at either end, out of the ruck.
Since we're mentioning goal of the day and mark of the day, from round 1 to round 4, there has been a marked difference. It's almost like, I want to have a crack at this.
Is the standard dropping, though, with mark of the day?
Mark of the day, maybe not so much. Goal of the day, definitely. And I have known that I made it preferential, that I like the snap. There's certainly plenty of them.
We did have Michael Phillips who tried to put his name on Mark of the Day, but he couldn't quite hang on to it just on this broadcast wing. So that remains up for grabs. This is Darcy Wallinger winning the footy out of the middle for Barker. And it's ended on the chest of Dylan Gowdy. So he had a reasonably quiet first half, but he's put himself
Hit up
around.
Jackson.
Yeah, he's put himself around about in his second half, third quarter. And he's found Zach Jackson, who takes the mark 45 metres out. just slightly right of centre. He'll kick on goal, and any score will put the Bulls in front.
This is an important kick, and Jackson would have had a number of shots from this ground from that position, so he knows what to do. There's no wind either, so
No wind.
I'm marking it down.
He knows his way around goal. You love your early call, Ian. I tell you what, you do love your early call.
I'm a gambling man.
Zach Jackson, he kicks from right on the paint of 50. He
That's a
sends
goal.
it on its way. It's being applauded as soon as it left the boot.
Oh, I think before it left the boot.
Before it left the boot. And he kicks Mount Barker's 9th goal. And a really classy finish. Look, I say it a fair bit, but you can see why he was the league's leading goal kicker last year and a Kleeman medalist too. It is Mount Barker 9-12-66. They lead North Albany 9-6-60. Again, 21 scoring shots to 15. So perhaps, like we've said, missed opportunity for the Bulls, but they edge their way in front now.
And Jackson back for good, I believe.
Yeah, I can actually confirm that.
Yes, you can.
So I did speak to the coach during the week, and I think with juggling university commitments as well as waffle commitments, I just don't think it panned out how he liked, and they were certainly keen to grab him back. And
why wouldn't he? Yeah.
And I think he's loving it. So
certainly enjoyed himself at the Kleeman medal count last year.
so I've heard. His brother also had a day out today, by the way, as well. That's back-to-back really good performances for Luke Jackson for the Dockers too. So it's a purple patch for the Jackson boys at the moment as the ball's in the middle. And that's Jaron Woods flaring a hand pass out wide. Yeah, well done. A good shepherd there by the North Albany player, although Reese Hogg was in to apply a tackle to ensure the ball goes no further. And we'll have another stoppage as on the bottom of that pack. It's Mitch Woods handing the ball back to the umpire. Mitch Jackson, a very athletic goal kicker, getting it down to Duffield. He sends the ball forward. Oh, Mark couldn't quite be taken there. I think that was Travis Conn. Yeah, really good pickup by Nigel Penny, who just can't finish off the goal. But that was classy from Nigel Penny. He's actually had a very good game too. He's had moments, perhaps a little fumbly early on, but he's put himself around about and made himself a nuisance for North Albany.
He could have almost had a really good game. There's a couple of times like that. If he finished off,
one of those nearly games.
Yes, one of those nearly games. Yes.
Just a reminder, the other game down in Albany saw the Sharks leading by 8 points at halftime over Railways. So perhaps we didn't see that one coming as Nathan Credelli runs the ball out from full back, although it's straight down to Ben Kirkwood. He couldn't quite do much with his hand pass, although the kick forward for North Albany is intercepted. Good mark there by Luke Moncrief at half back. We've got a little bit of a holding pattern in this game. A rare opportunity to breathe. He goes long down the wing. A good mark taken overhead. That's a really good grab. Cameron Walsh. He plays on quickly, wheels round. Nigel Penny's the target. Sort of falls in his breadbasket, but he couldn't grab it. He goes back in. He applies a tackle, but couldn't hang on to it. And it looks like North Albany will be able to get this one out.
Great
really
spot.
Good forward pressure. That's Ben Kirkwood. He snaps on his left foot, puts it into the hot spot. North Albany's there first, and they share it out through hand pass. This one's going out right in the middle of the ground. It's going to land in the centre circle. And there's a whole raft of players chasing after it. Here's the debutant. Oh, he did well, but he couldn't quite get a clear handball away, Sibasato. And it looks like Mount Barker will be the winners of this contest, although that was Josh Davenport's kick, and it's been intercepted.
Oh, risky.
Oh, it's flared. That's a very risky kick. Ben Kirkwood. Held well. I think that's Credelli out there. Mitch Woods, pardon me. Yeah. Here's Credelli running fast for the handball. Ben Kirkwood just couldn't influence that contest for Mount Barker, and Mitch Woods takes a very important mark.
Spangenberg.
Yeah, Spangenberg has done well to avoid a tackle there. Shares it with a teammate, but patching intercepts.
Oh, yeah.
And he absolutely brushes off a would-be tackler. He walks to 45 metres, sends it to the goal square. Mark can't be taken by the Mount Barker player. Slapped back out to Zach Jackson. Overruns the footy. It's hot.
Drags it in. He's dragged it in. The umpire's call.
Umpire says no.
Give it to me.
Explain that one for me.
That was the voice of Darren Bennett, who is a great Southern Footy League umpire. Thought that footy might have been dragged in.
That's what I thought. That's what I could see from here, and I'm a lot further away than the umpire. Thank you, Tim, for filling in for me today.
Pardon me.
When the umpire's advisor's going, are you serious? we know that was a bad call.
Don't mind.
Mark's got a dodgy chip at the moment, I think. Although one thing we can do while we're going around to the grounds is rate the best chips and coffees. And I think the Mount Barker chips are winning so far.
Wow, okay.
And the burgers, I've been told.
The Bulls burger, they call it here, the Bulls burger.
Well, I don't
There is one ground which I won't mention where the word gravy, where they mention gravy, they don't actually include it.
Okay.
We'll let you discover that. Okay, so back to the play. I think we've lost the ball.
There's another point kicked by the Mount Barker.
I'm not going overly well here. There you go. I think I can talk again. You're right. One of those chips must have got stuck at the back of my throat. I don't hate the idea, Ian, if we can go from ground to ground and rate the chips.
Yeah.
There's something in that.
Yes.
This is Finn Kelleher-Bird, who takes the mark from the kick out from fullback. Jaron Woods offers a lead. Nothing doing. As young Finn Kelleher-Bird, he goes short.
Oh, Patching.
He's going to go for a goal. He's going. He set sails for home.
Patching runs to 45 metres. He sets sail.
Yeah.
He's not the man you want to turn the ball over to.
And that's,
Pardon me.
That's twice, in 15-minute period where Patching's got it at that danger point. And again, Bootsma would be very upset with that.
Yeah, my apologies. I'm just trying to get my voice back here, but a really, really good goal from Dan Patching. Look, you probably, I don't know what the coach will say to young Finn Kelleher-Bird. Was that the right time to go in board? Not sure, but certainly not the person to turn it over to. And, Dan Patching making him pay. Is that his third goal today?
Second.
Got him down for 2, both from 50 metres.
And 14-point margin, which is the biggest margin we've had for some time.
Yeah, we're 25 minutes through this third quarter, and it's Mount Barker 10-14-74. Leading now by 14 points over North Albany, 9-6-60. We're back in the middle as the rucks go at it. I think that's David Stone in there for Mount Barker. He wins the footy. Here's the goal kicker Patching, as they can't quite tackle him enough to prevent a kick, but it's coming back the other way. Here's Jalay. He takes a handball from his teammate. No, it's not Credelli. Pardon me. Whoever it is has followed up with a really good tackle. Yeah. I think it was Drew Wilcox. The ball trickles out the back. Here's Jalay again. Shares a hand pass with Travis Conn, who goes down the line. And
it's a good kick.
It was a really good kick. Jared McDowell takes the mark. He goes inboard. That's a better kick. Whoa. Mark almost spilled there. I think this is Nick Barrow.
Yeah.
As it bounced off his chest, but he was able to gather it back in before it got away from him.
That's nice
he sends a long ball down to right half forward, and a good mark taken. So this has been a good passage of play for North Albany. Callum Dixon with the footy.
Trying to isolate Ross.
Yep, assesses his options. He goes to Graham Ross. He can't quite grab it. They'll be first on the scene, North Albany. Player picks up, tackled immediately. Here's Lucas Ravenhill. Shares a hand pass out, although there is a goalkeeper.
Moncrief.
It is Moncrief. I think that was Jackson Kosh who sent the ball with the snap towards goal, but couldn't get further than Moncrief, who takes the intercepting mark. He kicks out wide. This is right half back for Mount Barker.
Another foul.
Yeah, and the ball gets towards the back, so they're on here. Player on short as well. Dylan Gowdy takes the mark. So they've used the footy well, Mount Barker, to get to this point. Shouldn't have said it, although that's worked out very well.
McMahon.
Campbell McMahon picks it up, takes a bounce, and gets away from him. He then sidesteps a player, goes inside forward 50, hits Nigel Penny. He chooses to play on, has a shot on goal. And
out of bounds on the full.
Out on the full.
I'm going to call him Nearly Nigel. He's had that sort of game.
He has certainly.
I could have marked him down for 4. And
well, that is the perfect way to describe it. He's taken a mark 30 metres out, and he kicks it from 20, and he's hit the behind
with
post
pinpoint
on the full.
accuracy.
Yeah, nearly Nigel Penny. As he's around about again, making a nuisance. But North Albany win the footy. They go forward with hand, and now by foot. It's a one-on-one out in the wing. Mount Barker best position to take this, although well recovered. I think that might be Jackson Kosh again. He can't do enough to hold it up, and Davenport wins the footy. He sends it forward for Mount Barker. Good mark taken, chopping of the arms. So it'll be a free kick to North Albany as they go and send it to left half forward, pardon me. Ball lands just on the edge of the centre square. Mount Barker do well to bring it to ground. It's a big scramble of players. It's caught under a few as Jackson Kosh applies a tackle. There is a kick forward. Mount Barker will win it. Don't argue from Duffield, who then sells some candy. His bounce isn't quite as appealing, and it's now been held up. So he's done the don't argue. He sold the candy, but then unfortunately the ball didn't come back to him.
He's done a Nearly Nigel.
Yeah. Where is Penny? There's Gowdy, who gets a kick
and I
forward.
think has he cramped?
He might be cramping. He's done a lot. He certainly had a good game, Duffield. I hope that's all it is. He is stretching that out, so I think it's cramp. As North Albany flare the ball.
Loose.
Here is Sibasato, the debutant. The mark's paid, but he dropped it. A really nice sidestep. They go inside forward 50. That's a good kick.
Good finish.
A really good kick, composed kick. and a good lead. I think this will be our man in Lucas Ravenhill, who's, as we spoke about at half-time with his coach Brad Bootsma, and I think we spoke about it early on, is certainly a very talented footballer. He'll kick from about 48 metres. He's just right of centre, and a really, really important goal for North Albany if he were to kick it, because they've been under the cosh, and he can't kick it. He's hung it out to the left. It's a minor score. They move to 9-7-61. North Albany trailing Mount Barker 10-14-74.
I love the journey of football. We've watched Sibasato come on, couldn't quite get used to the pace early, and then as the game progresses, he uses his run there, was a good mark and a really good finish. So I love those little stories, little backstories within the game.
Darren, as a Great Southern Footy League umpire, are you ever umpiring a couple of games a day, or are you only doing sort of the league games?
I'll generally only do the league games. If we're short in the 16s, I might pop up and have a bit of a warm-up run.
Yeah.
But no, I try to expend all my energy in the league game. I might back it up with a 16s game the next day.
Yeah.
I actually quite like umpiring, which some people might find that strange.
As a well, I was going to say a missed chance over the back for North Albany with the mark dropped, but there is a reprieve. It's a free kick right on the goal line, and it will be taken by Angus McKercher. So not the simplest of finishes coming up, but certainly an important and a good opportunity for North Albany to claw back this lead, which currently sits at 13 points. And Mount Barker's had the better of this quarter, and this will almost be the last action of the quarter as he improves the angle, and he does kick truly.
Yeah, he's happy with it.
He does love it. It's an important goal for North Albany and Angus McKercher, and it's happened right on the buzzer of three-quarter time. As this footy gets back to the middle, I think we'll hear the siren go. The score, Mount Barker 10-14-74. They lead this one by 7 points over North Albany, 10-7-67. And a goal late will
Crucial goal.
Yeah,
Crucial goal, yes.
Yep, and it will absolutely infuriate the Mount Barker coach, Brad Hook. So I'm sure he won't be stoked about that. But as we sit up here in the timekeeper's box, you are about to hear the siren blast for three-quarter time on what has been a really, really cracking fixture for round 4. In the Great Southern Football League, it is the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day. Mount Barker head to three-quarter time with a 7-point lead. And we have seen some really good footy today. I thought Mount Barker, Ian, were about to sort of run away with that, and Darren, but that late goal has certainly helped things.
Well, like I said, they got out to a 14-point margin, which I believe is the biggest for the game.
Yeah,
and things are looking dangerous for North Albany, but no, for a young team, they fought back well. The weather's holding out, sun's out, and any team that Brad Bootsma coach, generally, if they've got any advantage, it's going to be their fitness.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And they have some younger boys in the side, and that's maybe why they brought Kevin up today, just to provide that bit of fitness in the last quarter and hopefully push ahead.
And I think it'll be heavy legs for a lot of players. It's that sort of ground, isn't it? Especially early, there seemed to be a lot of coverage. So it'd be interesting to see fitness-wise, which is one of the more underrated skills in the GSFL.
Yeah, there you go. No, I do look forward to seeing that unfold, actually. You've spoken a lot about Brad Bootsma and his insistence on his teams, any Brad Bootsma coach team, running out the game. So it will be good to watch. We will take a short break here at Sounness Park in Mount Barker. It is the Bulls 10-14-74 with a 7-point lead over North Albany 10-7-67. We'll be back shortly for the final quarter. Welcome back to Sounness Park, round 4 of the Great Southern Football League. We've got an absolute cracker on our hands. It's Mount Barker 10-14-74, leading North Albany 10-7-67. Just at some other grounds as well. It's three-quarter time down in Albany at Railways. They trail the Sharks by 5 points. So 58-63 there. So a real tight contest there as well. A good day of footy in the Great Southern Footy League. But we are underway in the last quarter. And it is Jaron Woods winning the footy forward for North Albany. They go forward. This is Nick Barrow. He can manage a kick, but no further than the boundary line. We'll have a throw in. So we've got a tight game in Albany. We do. Pardon me, a tight game here. It's all happening.
And the Railways Albany game was requested to me, can we change it from, because it was a Sunday initially, and
Yep.
I said, why? And they said Mother's Day, and I said, oh my God, that is the best reason ever. Granted.
I think that's probably fair. Keep the mothers happy. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers that are potentially listening, maybe watching their sons, I'm not sure. As we're in the North Albany forward line, that's very Tolgi scrambles the hand pass forward. Although they can't exit the D50, so a good early chance for North Albany. Who do you reckon? Jaron Woods picks up the footy, but he can't go anywhere with it, and we'll have another stoppage. He's certainly a player that North Albany will look to this last quarter to lift them over the line. As the umpire throws the ball aloft again, it's sharked by North Albany. And a quick kick on goal. It can only go out on the full. So it will be a Mount Barker ball from the back pocket. But a promising start from North Albany. At least it's up the right end of the ground for them. They trail this one by 7 points. You can't quite see the scoreboard on your screen. It'll come there shortly, as no doubt this ball
What's
gets
Jackson
sent
doing down in the back line? Just getting another stat.
I think he's lost.
Yeah.
I think he's lost.
He's going for the stats now.
His teammate Darcy Wallinger kicks up the wing. And taken in a strong tackle wow. I think that was Moncrief taken very quickly in a tackle. I didn't know how much opportunity he had there, but umpire was hot on that. I think it's Moncrief. Apologies if not.
Yes, I think that is.
But it is Credelli who is the recipient of a holding the ball decision. So he'll send North Albany back down the line. This one will land about 45 metres out. It's a 2-on-1 down there. Good mark almost taken by the North Albany forward. And he is immediately...
I think that was Ross.
Yeah, no, I think
Let's see as he gets up.
Walking out left.
Yeah, no, that was Ross.
Yep, that is
there
Ross.
There you go,
Yep.
bottom of the pack.
He's usually got the leg rope on, Ross. Doesn't like to bench it too far.
And
from
he'll
the
ruck.
goal square.
Yeah, he puts his hand up for the ruck. He goes up. He can't quite win the tap down. I think we'll have to award that one to Kobe Williams. As they scrap for the footy on the 50-metre line. This is Zach Jackson now. He picks up and hand passes to Dan Patching, who sort of scrubbers a kick along the boundary line. I think that was actually quite smart. And Mount Barker retained the footy and a really good kick into the centre of the ground. This is Jackson again. He sends the ball down to left half forward. Campbell McMahon with a really good pickup and sends the ball to the top of the 50. This is Mitch Pearce who takes the mark. He plays on quickly. He sees the target he likes. Playing for a free kick. Nothing doing was the Mount Barker player. McMahon's followed up, but he is wrapped up and going absolutely nowhere. So we'll have a ball up 15 metres out from the Mount Barker goal.
Patching's an interesting watch, isn't he? How he comes in and dominates it for periods and then sort of, I don't know, fades out of the game at certain periods as well.
Maybe he's having a rest. I'm not sure. We'll have another ball up 15 metres out again from the Mount Barker goal. Umpire throws it up, taken straight out of the ruck. And a goal is kicked by, you guessed it,
Duffield.
That's Brody Duffield.
Number 4.
He's kicked his 4th goal of the day, and he's playing very, very well today. Certainly having a game. And at this point, I will remind you that our player of the day
he's putting his hand up for a pair of thongs.
Yeah, so some of our listeners might not be aware of this. We're now giving out a pair of Archies for our player of the day. These beautifully crafted and contoured thongs. I think they're designed to be comfortable for your feet, Ian.
Yes. We did the GSFLW last night, and we handed out about 10 of them.
Oh, right.
Yes.
And left over right in front of us, we have a pair of Aqua Archies, which I'm sure Brody Duffield would be seen sporting around in them. Anyway, we'll see. World's comfiest thongs, apparently they're called. I've just seen that on the screen. We'll have another ball up. The ball's in the middle of the ground. A 13-point lead to Mount Barker. They lead at 11-14-80 to North Albany 10-7-67. The ball up is followed up very well by Mitch Jackson. He goes barging in. Here's Zach Jackson out wide. He sends the forward 50 kick in front of that man Duffield again. He keeps it in play.
On a dime.
Yeah, turns
and
on
again.
a dime and sends the kick on
No,
goal.
the umpire's called out of bounds.
And that is a shame because
that was not out of bounds.
That was out of bounds.
Are you serious?
Well, Duffield eventually has actually kicked that goal with a fine finish, but
That would have been number 5. Would have been goal of the day and arguably the sealer. So that was a.
but the
crucial
boundary
decision.
umpire. Look, I'm not sure if you saw it on your screen. I think the boundary umpire put his hand up quite early.
And the North Albany player
Has potentially
stopped
Yeah.
and shouted at the umpire and almost willed him to say,
Yep.
call that back. So anyway, that's be immortalised on our screen.
We will
go
have
back and have a look at that.
A boundary throw in as Ravenhill gives it to Credelli, who now shares it with Woods, who goes long down the wing. And that ball's spoiled. I can't quite see which player that was. I think it might be Mitch Jackson again.
That was a nice spoil. It was almost like a bang, boom, tap down.
So as we have a little stoppage on this commentary wing here, right between the interchange gates, a couple of the better players in your eyes, Darren?
Look, I mean, can't go past Zach Jackson. He's been consistent all day. I do like Duffield, yes. Jaren Woods for North Albany again. I can't complain. He's got a lot of the footy.
Yeah.
And he, like I said earlier, he does well with it. So yeah, those would probably be my top 3.
Yep, I think you're around about right there.
Yeah, and Woods also kicked a couple of goals early, which is only going to help.
Yeah, look, I dare say he'll be, if his team doesn't get up here, he might be stitched up with not winning these Archies, but we'll see. As the ball is scrapped out on this boundary, out near this boundary wing, pardon me, as a big hit coming in there, and the North Albany player did well to
and he's
recover.
called that holding.
Yep, and we've got a holding the ball decision. So well done from North Albany as they scrap to try and stay in this game. I think we've got a 50-metre penalty. I think
Down
we
the
do.
ground. No, it's not 50. It's just down the ground.
A down the ground free kick. Lucas Ravenhill scrapping with Mitch Jackson. And that's not what Brad Hook will want to see, the Mount Barker coach. North Albany goes inside forward 50. The ball lands in front of a few players. Picked up very well there by
Rossi.
Ross. He sends a kick on its way. On his left foot, it's going to land in the goal square.
And again,
and it's off hands.
the blinded side of the umpires.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
The 4 bodies go flying.
Chaos in the goal square.
Yeah.
That one's hit the post, off hands.
Do you
and
practice that, Darren? Or like,
Practice not looking.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
anything within 1 metre out?
Yeah.
Look,
that's when they catch some Zs. When the ball goes in the goal square, a bit of recovery time. And it's a behind, so 12 points. And even 2 goals is the Bulls' lead as Lee Pavlovich sends the ball long down the middle. There's a big pack of players there. Patching was up to fist it forward. Off the back is Kelleher Bird. He overruns it, goes back in, and his handball can go no further than Wallinger.
Is he going to go all the way?
Who sends it to Zach Jackson. He takes 2 bounces. He crosses 50. He runs to 40. He kicks it goal, and he's missed near side.
So what's that? 1 goal 6.
Yeah. He hasn't had his kicking boots on today. It's a behind. Do we start getting into the territory of handy behinds? It's a 13-point lead for Mount Barker, I believe. I think they will go to 11-15-81 to 10-8-68 as North Albany bring the footy back in. Not sure about that. It's a 2-on-1 out there, and it doesn't actually find the North Albany player anyway, and it beats the lot of them across the boundary line. We'll have a throw-in. It's about 65 metres.
Now, Darren, that's my rule change. You play on from full back and it's untouched. I think it should be a kick back.
Is that right? Why is that?
Well, because previously
It used to be. Yes.
Homage to the way it used to be, Ian?
Yeah. I might put that on the agenda.
Yes.
Might not be supported, but
no. I don't think the GSFL will support that.
It's not sounding positive. As,
it's only because you want another kick and goal, isn't it?
Mitch Jackson sends the footy inside 50 for Barker. They're first on the ball. Oh, taking in a slinging tackle. It is play on. Didn't go 15. As North Albany come back out, and it's just over the head of Nigel Penny. Nearly Nigel. And a mark taken by North Albany. They can sort of chip it and work their way down this outer wing. And they do it very well.
That's a good lead.
That's the 3rd mark in a row. Nice little passage of play on that far side. And they complete it with a 4th. They're now over halfway. Nigel Penny stands the mark. And they keep going down the line.
Keep
Mark
your feet.
dropped there, and I think it's been spilled out of bounds as well. So we'll have a throw-in. They worked it quite nicely, North Albany. Now, I'm not sure about I think the score on your screen there is correct. I think it's 11-14-81 to North Albany 10-8-69. I think our scoreboard has given the behind to the wrong team.
Oh,
there.
here's a
Well,
chance.
66 plus 14 is 80. There we go.
There you go. As North Albany go inside forward 50. Mark can't be taken, and it's going to come back the other way. Mount Barker wins the footy out to the wing. Here is Nigel Penny,
nearly
takes the mark.
Nearly takes it.
You can see him running on there,
And
though.
Jackson again.
Zach Jackson in the middle of the ground. Nigel Penny could be an option here. Zach Jackson goes the other way to the man who is on a hot streak. Duffield can't take the mark. He tries to follow up. His opponent there was quick in Regan Lloyd to pull it back under. But I think the umpire was wise to that. He said, no, he didn't pull it in. You pulled it in. We'll have a ball up.
Duffield desperately seeking his fifth, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yes.
Very hungry.
Oh, rubber chest there, Duffield. I thought he'd snaffle that, but it bounced straight off his chest. And
He's done a darling.
yeah, we'll have a ball up about 25 metres out from the Mount Barker goal. Neither ruckman really gets a tap on it. And over the ball, I think that was not Kosh. I can't quite see who
No,
that
this
was.
is Koshy here.
Here's Jackson Kosh with that right shoulder strap. Kelleher Bird feeds a hand pass. It was a good hand pass, and we'll come back out this broadcast wing, but it's all Mount Barker out there. In fact, it's only Mount Barker out there. Mitch Jackson all on his own. Sends a kick to Dan Patch.
There he is.
Takes the mark in the middle of
He'll
the
go
ground.
from here.
Well, we know he can certainly roost a footy. He's got his mate and I think he flares it wide. The mark's taken in the middle of the ground anyway. I can't quite see who that player is.
That's Moncrief again.
Yeah, is that Luke Moncrief?
Yeah.
So he sends the ball very shallow inside
Oh.
forward 50. They sort of look at each other, the North Albany players. As Ravenhill goes in to try and clean it up. And he had no prior opportunity, so we'll have a ball up. That was
Maybe nearly Nigel sounds louder than he actually is in that competition just then, that
That would have
contest.
been the sun?
Yeah, potentially.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. You're starting to see some long shadows on your screens there of players as we tick over 11 minutes in this final quarter. It's a 13-point lead to the Bulls. So this game not done by any stretch of the imagination, but you'd probably want North Albany to kick the next one.
Yes, I believe so. I think if Barker can nail another goal, what are we looking at? 4 scoring shots.
Yeah,
then.
yeah, exactly right.
So next score is crucial.
Here they are in the outer wing as Reece Hogg tries to stop the forward momentum from North Albany, and he does that pretty well. Dan Patching with the footy. He's caught, but he shrugs a tackler. Now he sends it inside forward 50. No one at the drop zone for Mount Barker. Have we got a
Down the
downfield free
field.
kick?
We
We
do.
do. That's a costly one for North Albany. I think Dan Patching was dealt with after he kicked it, or perhaps it was off the ball. We didn't quite see. We were watching the path of the footy, but it will be a shot on goal for Mount Barker. And I can see, well, there's a couple of forwards that are keen to get their hands on the footy, but it'll be Campbell McMahon to take this shot from around about 45 metres out.
That was crucial too because Con had the ball.
Yep.
North Albany were going to repel that. So,
Yeah, Travis Conn had taken that intercepting mark. So those down the field free kicks, same sort of penalty as a 50-metre, it can be absolutely costly. And it's Campbell McMahon to strike a dagger into the heart of North Albany as he
he's
hits
hit the post.
Number 5.
There's a magnet down there. Someone check the footy for a bit of metal because that post has been peppered today.
While we're doing the chips and the coffee, we could measure the post too. I think they're a bit bigger in Barker.
Yeah. As I think they've, like you said, I think they've been hit 5 times. As
costly.
Yeah, really
Credelli.
bad drop from Credelli. You wouldn't often see that.
No.
So he's got to try and go in and beat Pavlovich to the footy, and the two of them now tie up. They wrestle for it, and in the end, it's a neutral ball, and that's a costly mistake from Nathan Credelli. Not something, as we said, that you'd see too often from him. So the umpire throws it aloft. It's Ravenhill and I think
Woods
Stone
class
going at it.
again.
Yeah, Jaron Wood's very classy in getting that ball out from the stoppage. This ball gets to the back, although I think that's Hogg there
That's
who cleans
Hoggy
it up
again.
for Mount Barker. He sends it inside forward 50. It falls short of Duffield, but we know he can move pretty well. He and I think that's Regan Lloyd out near the boundary, and all the experience in the world has Regan Lloyd directed towards the boundary, and it'll be a throw-in. About 25 metres around from the Mount Barker goal. They lead this one by 14 points. And we're about halfway in this final quarter, so North Albany need to get a move on here. As the ball's
Jackson
sharked
again.
from from the ruck contest. I think
1-7.
Zach Jackson
Wow.
with a flying shot on goal. Is that confirmed? Does he kick 1 goal 7?
Possibly.
I'm not sure I'm going to back Ian Beck and his bar and gate tally here. He seems to be throwing them in whenever he wants. But he certainly hasn't had his kicking boots on. We know he's missed a fair few. And 17 behinds from Mount
North
Barker.
Albany,
Hasn't been
plenty of
ideal.
space here. Con.
Yeah,
ball.
this is Woods who gets the footy to Con, and they've got another
Oh.
player on as well with a nice kick. Finds the captain in Nick Barrow. He sends the ball forward. There was a one-on-one, although Mount Barker gets back. Ross can't take the mark. He follows up well, then drops the footy. He's got Oh, he's got a few players in support. He does find a handball pass out. Here's Kelleher Bird.
That's
No,
Lucas
sorry, it's
Ravenhill.
Ravenhill who snaps
Oh.
on his right foot and it just
Touched on
didn't
the line.
have the gas. My
That could be
apologies.
a match-winning.
Yeah, well, an important spoil there, and it's just a minor score to North Albany.
Still plenty of time for North
Still
Albany.
plenty of time.
Yep.
And the way these quarters have panned out, it's like the first quarter's frenetic and the second half opens up. So, look,
You're not
I,
wrong.
I don't know what the message Boots would be sending out, but stay on this attacking
Yeah.
side.
Well, like you said, Ian, these Bootsman coach teams are very well drilled, and hopefully will be fit.
Well, I was out there training on Wednesday night, and they were doing a 2K fitness test.
Oh my good heavens!
And we're talking round 4 now?
Round 4.
So
There you go. As Wallinger goes up, tries to take a
Spoiled.
huge hang. I think he's injured an opposing player in the process, but North Albany ends up with the footy. Good little sidestep there,
Oh,
but he
that's
couldn't get
cool.
past another tackler. And I think,
that was Spandenberg, was it?
yeah, I think it's Spangenberg who has... No, that's Willie Watkins.
That's Watkins.
Yeah, Willie Watkins has laid that tackle to cause the turnover. But they've got it back, North Albany. So they're tenacious at the footy today as the kick goes in the forward
Oh.
pocket. And a mark is taken. That might be Ross again.
He'll back himself
On the
from
lead,
here.
it is. It's Graham Ross who's taken the mark and used his body well to protect the drop zone of the footy. And he's got the ball. He'll have a shot from about, well, I'd say 45 metres out. This one is a tight angle, so he'll do well to put this one through.
Ross will use his experience. He'll walk up, he'll run around. And
Run around.
he
Have a
will-
bounce.
I've marked him down.
You've marked him down, Ian. And
That-
I don't think you've got one wrong today.
No,
Ian.
that's why there's a lot of white.
I've got one right.
That's a lot of white out on Ian's paper there. As Graham Ross sends the
Oh.
ball, that's left all the way. In fact, that does well to score, I think. And he's
Oh, and he's been told about it as
yeah,
well.
opposition player letting him know there in the foreground. You can see in the centre of your screen. I think that's Kobe Williams.
Could have
saying-
been inviting him to a kicking class.
Yeah, he might
you
have
know.
said, "Hey, mate, do you want to have a beer after or
Yeah.
what?" We don't know what was said, but Kobe Williams certainly reminding him what's going on.
Knowing Graham, probably not the wisest thing from Kobe.
Yeah. He who laughs loudest, so we'll see. But it is a 13-point lead to the Bulls at the moment. We've played 17 minutes in this final quarter. It's Dan Patching with the footy at half back for Mount Barker. He's been a good player again today for the Bulls. And his kick is good, although Hogg can't take the mark. And it's now soccered further afield by Darcy Wallinger. But it goes out of bounds, and the umpire says, "Give it to me. We'll have a throw in."
Coming into the 17-minute mark, just passing. Kangas need the next goal.
Yeah,
as
it's-
we said it, but as time goes on, more and more crucial.
Starting to get towards go time now. As the boundary umpire hurls the ball back in play, Mitch Jackson wins the tap. He flicks it to the back of the contest. It's a dangerous spot for the footy to be as Mount Barker's there first.
It's the other Jackson.
Yeah, reasonably good pickup. Oh, taking in a strong tackle was that Mount Barker player. Can't quite get a read
Number
on that.
8.
I think that was, Wallinger again. He's last to get up. He's been busy.
Mm.
And the umpire throws this one up. And tapped backwards by the North Albany player, and they do win the footy. They go forward, but it's repelled. Standing in the way, Mount Barker. So they're standing strong. They're holding on to a 13-point lead late in this last quarter as Dan Patching
That wasn't
slides in.
nearly. That wasn't nearly.
It was. This ball's gone over the back. I think Mount Barker will be first there. Again, I think this might be Kobe Williams. He's been involved a lot recently. Hand passes to Davenport, who now flings it out wide. They've got the footy, Mount Barker, controlling it pretty well. They've got a 2-on-1 here and a good mark taken out on the wing.
He's fallen over by himself.
Yeah, careful not to trip over that piece of nothing as they go forward, Mount Barker. This ball crosses the forward 50. It's picked up by North Albany. Hand pass back, and they're going to come back the other way. Although the ball is over the head. That's a bad miss over the
Well, that's
Gelay's head.
Patchin as well.
Yeah, Dan Patching making up for his slip. Oh, is that Patching?
No, Patchin was down injured.
Yeah.
He tripped
Oh,
over
right.
himself again, yes.
Yeah, I think it was Wallinger. Wallinger has the footy. Looks for his options. He's going to come across. Now, this is a risky kick because it's 2-on-2 out here.
Koshy.
And it goes over the head. Jackson Kosh takes the mark. He wants 50.
Oh, that is 50
I
because he
think
wasn't on the mark.
Certainly
That
think
was
the
well
second
missed.
one might have been 50.
I'll bring that up on Wednesday. Umpire training.
The ball is with Michael Phillips on centre wing. He sends a long ball forward. It's a high ball as well. Williams underneath it for Barker. He can't take the mark. And the ball's sort of... I don't think that was Williams. I
Oh,
think that was
Koshy's made the
Pavlovich.
run.
Yeah, Koshy's run
That's
down
a
there.
great
There's
kick.
a player free.
That's Lucas Ravenhill.
Lucas Ravenhill's in the goal square, and the ball just doesn't sit for him. He picks it up now. He snaps on goal, and he's scored.
That was a great run there from Koshy, I think, Ian. He's come all the way from half back down the wing to pick up the spoils there and kick truly.
And Kobe Williams was sitting under that ball and Rossi had a head of steam, a 30-metre
Yeah,
run. And
yeah.
I thought I was going to see something a lot more dramatic.
I might have got it wrong. It might have been Pavlovich. Yeah, it was one of the two. But, yeah, I think Rossi saw red and he thought, oh, this is my chance. He did well. The ball came to ground and they were able to score a goal. A very, very important goal in the context of, as you can see on your screen, the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and Point Insurance match of the day, because that narrows the margin to 7 points. It is the Bulls 11-17-83 to North Albany 11-10-76. 7 points the margin, 10 minutes to play.
And
So-
North Albany, like we said, their fitness is their key advantage. Could be looking at a first drawn game, Mark.
No, there
Well,
was
apart
one.
from these guys were in a draw game round one.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
there was the round one game. There you go. I think it was
Second
Yeah.
drawn game.
Yeah. I think it
The
was
first one we saw.
Yeah,
is where I was
good,
at,
good
going
point.
for.
Good point.
Yeah.
As we have a repeat stoppage in the centre of the ground, and it's getting telling in there.
That's
Kick
Credelli.
forward by Credelli. He's done well today. As North Albany go inside forward 50, trying to pick it up there. I think that's Barrow going in hard again for North Albany. Oh, he might have been deemed to have fallen on this one. Mount Barker players want a free kick. Umpire
Barrow
says
has been
nope.
consistent all day as
Yeah.
well. I think he has played a very good game of football.
Yeah, across the sort of half-forward line, midfield. He's provided a target and used the footy pretty well. As Patching sharks it from the ruck tap. What's happening
Oh,
here?
high contact.
High contact. It's going North Albany's way. So it's a North Albany free kick. A chance to go deep inside forward 50. This one will be taken by, I think that's Jaron Woods. He sends it long, and it's only Mount Barker
Pavlovich.
there. Yet wasn't to the advantage of the North Albany forwards. Lee Pavlovich takes the saving mark. He's going to come
Not
out this
happy
wide.
on the North Albany bench with that kick.
No, not stoked at all. but
And Woods is such a good user of the ball.
And not
Yes.
I think they've just misread that completely.
Not surprisingly, Pavlovich used the ball beautifully. Mount Barker now have the footy. It's Mitch Jackson who sends it to centre wing. A couple of players go up. They spoil each other. Jaron Woods wins the footy. They go forward for North
Oh,
Albany.
Rossi's up.
And
No, that's Burrows.
Yeah.
That's Burrows.
No, that's Nick Barrow, I think. Nick Barrow takes the mark at centre half forward for North Albany. Right on cue. He sends the ball long into the goal square. There's a couple of players there. It goes over their
and
head.
again.
And once again, Lee Pavlovich takes the saving mark.
He's been great down there all day.
He has. He's been ever reliable for Mount Barker down there. Kobe Williams with the footy now, with Graham Ross standing the mark. I reckon he's saying, oh, you'd want to kick this well.
Yeah.
As he directs traffic out to the half-back line. And he goes down there now. It's a 2-on-1. So if this footy comes to ground, it does. Jaron Woods wins it. He sends North Albany back inside 50. A couple of repeat stoppages. Pavlovich couldn't make it a hat-trick. Although they come back out no further than Lucas Ravenhill.
Oh, he's going to back himself.
He's going back for
Yep.
a shot.
He
straight
took the
away.
mark. He's marked it at about 48 metres out, and he's going to back himself to make the distance here. We've played 22 and a half minutes in this last quarter. The margin's 7 points. This is a huge kick in the context of the game, and it's the young Lucas Ravenhill who will take it. And he'll kick from around about probably 51, 52 metres. He's a right footer. He sends it on its way. It's got a bit of distance to it. I think it's going to fall short.
Oh, it's
it
hit
hits
the post.
Number 6.
It hits the post, but we can now talk about handy points because that brings it to within an even kick. 83 plays 77. Pavlovich wastes no time in bringing the footy in, and Darcy Wallinger takes a good juggling mark. He now sends the footy inside, and that's a good kick. He spots a teammate. They're controlling the ball well here, Mount Barker. That kick falls short of Mitch Jackson, but he's got time to grab it. He sends it down to Campbell McMahon, and the mark is spilled.
Oh,
No,
that is a
mark's
mark,
taken.
yes.
Almost came off Campbell McMahon's leg as it ended up in the chest of
Regan
the captain
Lloyd.
there,
Oh,
Regan
and
Lloyd.
once again, not within 2 metres.
Yeah. Although
the
perhaps
umpire has spoken.
chasing an opponent. As Regan Lloyd sends a helicopter forward. Lucas Ravenhill with the gather. He does well to shake off a would-be tackler. He sends North Albany to, the left half forward flank. Ball goes through a couple of players. I think out there, I think that was Angus McKercher who couldn't quite pick it up for North Albany. And the
Legs are
ball-
getting heavy.
They
You can
certainly
definitely
are.
see their heavy legs out there.
Haven't we got a game for you here? It's 11-17-83. The Bulls, they lead it by 6 points over North Albany, 11-11-77, 24 minutes played in the last quarter. We've got 6 minutes left. It's a 6-point lead. Mount Barker win the tap, but they don't win the footy. The North Albany player tackled. In goes Hogg. He swings a hand pass forward. This is Patching chasing after the footy. He's immediately wrapped up. He's getting nowhere. As now the ball is, I think that's Gelé again. He's trying to win the footy. Mount Barker players going in everywhere. In fact, they're all going in everywhere, to be fair. They're scrambling for it right in front of the Mount Barker bench. The umpire will do well to ball this one up, I think. He gave him a bit of time, but he does now say, give it to me.
It's very interesting. Zach Jackson is now down in the forward line, so whether or not he's tired, injured, or just wants to kick the winning goal.
Yeah, who knows?
What the point? Winning point.
Well, his points are the difference in the game so far, aren't they?
Yes, yes.
Every score vital now. 28 scoring shots to 22 has allowed North Albany to stay in it with a bit of inaccurate Mount Barker kicking. The ball is in dispute. It's on the centre wing. No player can really get a clean hand pass. Here we go. They'll go forward now out North Albany. They send a scrambling kick. Mark can't be taken. Won by Jackson Kosh off hands. Oh, his kick is intercepted at right half back for Mount Barker. That's a dangerous kick into the middle, but once again,
Safe
it's that
hands.
man. It's Lee Pavlovich. He's been prominent in this last quarter. He swings a kick out wide. He finds a teammate. That's Kobe Williams. We've called his name again as well. As a good lead is offered and honoured by Alex Skinner. Mount Barker really controlling the footy well. I think this is Walsh now with the footy. He sends it inside forward 50.
And
Dylan
we'll watch
Gowdy
for Jackson here.
Yeah, Jackson leads to the pocket now. Dylan Gowdy honours the lead, and he hits him
wow.
with a really good kick too. He hits Zach Jackson on the lead about, I'd say 30 metres out. This one is a 45-degree angle, so certainly not an easy kick.
And again, you see the North Albany bench throw their hands up. You could see that coming from Jackson.
Yeah, you could see that coming.
The player come across to intercept as well. Couldn't make it. It was such a good kick.
And look, and he did have the speed to burn his opponent on the mark. I think that's Harrison Smith who's manning him.
Could be another crucial point for Jackson.
Zach Jackson will kick from about 35 metres. There is the kick. I think he's pushed it across the
Once again.
Oh, he hasn't. My apologies. He's kicked a goal. The reaction was a little bit subdued, but Zach Jackson has finally kicked. Is that his second goal?
Yes.
He's kicked his second.
Maybe not subdued, more surprised.
Yeah. You're probably right. And a critical goal for the Bulls. We've played 26 and a half minutes. That brings their lead to 12 points. It is 12-17-89. The Bulls leading North Albany 11-11-77. And they kick away. It's a very, very handy buffer and an important goal.
And a bit deflating as well for the Kangas. They did
yeah.
have a lot of the play up there. And
They had a lot of the play, didn't they?
They were pushing. They were within 6 points. And Mount Barker have taken the footy from one end to the other. As the ball's in the middle. So time is now of the essence for North Albany.
3 minutes.
3 minutes to go. You can see it on the scoreboard. As we're counting up, it'll stop at 30 minutes. So there's not much time at all. They will go forward now. Jackson Kosh playing in front. He can win this footy. Oh, he just can't quite gather. Although Jerome Woods is at the back. He can't quite pick it up. I think it's Mount Barker will go backwards, but it's coming straight back.
Heavy legs.
Finn Kelleher-Bird. He sends the ball inside forward 50. Kosh is the target. He brings the footy to ground. Mount Barker's first on the scene. They win a hand pass forward. Trying to back out of a tackle was Kirkwood. And he's been penalised for holding the ball. No time to waste here. Jackson Kosh pushes back, sends the ball to Ross. He can't grab the mark. It is tight in there. Here's the debutant. He swings a hand pass in. It's knocked down by Mount Barker. They're jumping in from all angles. Oh, winning it out there's McKercher, but he can't go anywhere. And his hand pass can't quite find the boundary line. The kick partially smothered from the Mount Barker player. Jackson Kosh again. He's been busy. Here's Ben Kirkwood for Mount Barker. Swings a hand pass forward. It's it's McMahon who picks it up.
Oh, it's Duffield.
It's Duffield again. We haven't seen him as much this last quarter. He sends a
lace
beautiful
out.
kick forward and hits Zach Jackson on the chest. So he's been good all day. Not as prominent in the last quarter has Duffield, but what a kick forward to find Zach Jackson. And that there is the game. It doesn't really matter what the result of this kick is.
Any score.
Any score will put it out of reach. And in fact, it's probably not time enough anyway, even if it was a minor. So Zach Jackson will kick from about 40 metres out. For back-to-back goals for the Bulls and for Jackson, the arms go up. He has kicked a goal. And that is the sealer for the Bulls. And Zach Jackson puts both arms in the air. He accepts a few high fives from the teammates and the runner there to kick the Bulls' the 13th goal of the day. They are 13-17-95 to North Albany 11-11-77 with just just over 30 seconds left in this game. That is a Mount Barker victory, and I'm going to race down very shortly, guys, and bring you some words from our better players, which I'm going to ask you two to decide on.
Well, I think with that assistance there, I reckon Duffield for me.
Yeah. If Jackson had kicked a little bit straighter
Yeah.
and 2 late ones, he's made a late charge for it, but just a little bit too late.
Yep, you're probably right. I think, I think we're all in agreement in that Brodie Duffield from Mount Barker will be our player of the day, our Archie's player of the day. I'll go down and present them to him, which I'm sure he'll be stoked for when he sees these aqua-coloured Archies. But we're nearing the end of this game. The ball fittingly ending in Mount Barker's forward line. But that is it. Mount Barker are the victors. Here in round 4, the Rainbow Coast Insurance Brokers and the Point Insurance match of the day from Sounness Park. It's a victory to Mount Barker. You can see a few players on their haunches out there. It was a pretty taxing game, but it is the Bulls 13-17, 95. Running out winners by 18 points and even 3 goals over North Albany, 11-11, 77. I will get downstairs and I will chase Brodie Duffield to present him a pair of these fantastic Archies, and I think we'll get the camera on them. You can see them shortly at just how vivid they are, how bright they are. I'm holding them
Teal,
now.
is it?
Well, good job it's Mother's Day tomorrow, so you never know.
Exactly
you never know
right.
whose feet they're going to end up on.
I'll be back shortly. I'm going to leave this one to you two to talk through some best players and some moments for that, and I'll bring you some words from Brodie Duffield shortly.
Okay, so Darren, that was a cracking game from
It was
the
a great
start.
game.
Like I said, unfortunately, with an 18-point margin, that is the biggest margin of the whole game.
Yeah. And to be honest, North have played some really good three-quarter footy. It is that last quarter I feel that is letting them down.
Yeah.
But look, at least they're being competitive. Both the teams, they needed to win this to stay in the top 4. I don't know if it will change that. I think that depends on the Royals Denmark game, and you'd think Royals be getting up on that tonight. That game's at 4:45. I think is a late league game today, so that might determine who goes into the top 4. The result of that game.
Okay. Do we have any scores from the Royals Railways?
Unfortunately, my phone hasn't updated yet.
So they
let me
updated every
refresh.
quarter.
Yes.
So last night I was at Retrovision Stadium and covered the GSFL Women's Grand Final. Have to pay homage to Royals. They went through the season undefeated.
Undefeated, yes.
That's rare in any league, I think.
Yes.
So,
yeah. No, I would agree. Royals, and to be honest, they had some of their best players, like in Taylor Rozelle. She played a bit of Claremont throughout the season, so she wasn't there all the time. They've got the Humphrey twins, which are, very consistent.
Yeah.
But they've got a great coach in Ollie Pass. Colin Pass.
Yeah.
Who is Mr. Fitness. And I think he really works on well with the girls with that side of things. So, well done, Royals, for an undefeated season.
Yeah, and Colin coaches the Country Week side as well, so he's well respected by...
And he coaches junior footy. He was up here this morning.
Yeah.
So... And he's probably playing reserves right now as we speak.
And while we're on the women's, I can make mention Laura Chinani co-commentated the game with myself and Catherine Jennings last night. Laura, of course, won the Best and Fairest.
Yes.
By a street.
Yes.
20 votes. And Gracie Gibson won her fourth goal-kicking award.
Wow.
And there's
How many seasons have we had?
5.
5, okay.
So last year was the first year that she didn't win, and each year that she has won, she's kicked more and more goals, and she actually kicked a goal in every game this year, including the finals, which is quite rare.
That's what you need.
Okay.
And here we are.
We're going to go straight to Mark.
It's all right. I've got Brodie Duffield with me. You might not be aware, Brodie, but for the live stream games this year in the GSFL, we offered Player of the Day, sponsored by Archies. You've won yourself a pair of Archies.
No worries.
How do you feel about that?
No, it was good. It was a good win. Good to get down here, and thank everyone, all sponsors, and anything today.
Hey, notice you played. Were you in the midfield to start with, and then sort of move forward? Was that the go?
I've had a flu for about a week now, so my legs gave up in about the second quarter. So, yeah.
Well, we couldn't tell, mate. You played brilliantly, kicked a few goals, and had a fair bit of the ball. So, well done. Congratulations on the Archies Player of the Day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Pleasure.
I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? He's had the flu for a week, and he walks away with Player of the Round. So what a great achievement.
Yeah. So Barker looking dangerous, I think, this year. They've certainly got some high caliber players and good finishers. I wouldn't like to be playing them.
No, and they have some big. One of the Pricey brothers. There was only one brother is playing this year. He's out injured with ribs, I think, at the moment. So they've got some players to come in. So it would be interesting to see how they go for the rest of the season. Obviously, Zach Jackson is always going to be a target, and he's always going to take one or two players out, and I think that's what they work well with. People are going to see this Kleeman medalist, down forward, and they're always going to put a tagger on him or put somebody on him.
There were a number of times we saw where he was double teamed.
Yeah.
And that's always going to, free someone up as well. We've got the Barker team directly below us singing the song. It's always one of the great things of country footy.
As I've made the mad dash back up to the box, I was almost going to hang the microphone in there to hear the song. Perhaps we'll do that next week. But he certainly was good, wasn't he, Duffield?
Yeah, superb. We might need a 7-second delay if we hang the microphone inside the change room.
Yeah, good point. No, it was a cracking game, and he just said off air then as well. He goes, "Oh yeah, God, I heard they were recording. All the boys." Yeah. Look, apologies. I was obviously down there having a chat to the field, but have we got through the day goal today?
No, we haven't.
So who do you think?
Wow. I would have to put Rossi down for goal. He's taken out of the ruck and he's put his butt, and it wasn't nice, but three.
Yeah,
and look, that would be very close.
I like Sandberg as well.
I like Bonds. Yeah. The goal for the bound line right out there out wide. But I'll let you fight that. Who are we going to get to?
Well,
Executive decision. That's true. The time, I'm not sure I heard that in my by the time he reckons that Gallaudet was the one that didn't count with.
Now, on the Wiz 1 year, a long time ago, Kelvin Templeton, the goal was disallowed. Kelvin Templeton from the Wiz, Morphet, goal today. Very controversial fact.
I'll leave it to you.
Happy. Look, I'm with Rossi.
I'm going Rossi because he bleed out early. Good spot when he was almost like angry that he had, so it was like took it on himself.
You know,
buffed it away.
I think about a minute after I said it had been.
Correct. Exactly.
We'll give it to Ross. Is the Wellington team's goal of the day. Retrofit Albany are our sponsors. Mark of there this year. Look, we don't have Tony, but we'll give a shout out to what's his name? Michael Phillips, who gave it an almighty go with the fly here. But can't hang to it. But shout out to him. Fantastic. Just now, I think we got the record. Albany winner. Right there. Putting it on my phone. See, North Albany colours. Certainly went to scratch today. Came close, but not quite.
Yeah, not quite enough. They seem to have some position quite a bit today. Obviously young group, and we just looked a bit of in some moment, but we're moving, and we're on a journey to improve it. This year's been last year, so we'll continue to improve.
One of the young guys, I believe you would have put on the track sometime.
Yeah, this year was obviously probably a bit younger, but there is a core group of young guys that have played 2 or 3 years together, and they're improving.
Yeah.
We always don't pay players the easy fix. We bring 3 young blokes, and we get there.
Hard is to attract players to the club. I mean, you're obviously competing against other clubs in our as well. It's only limited, like you said, and obviously not having players. Hard is to attract players.
It's been difficult. 2018, when we won the Premiership, 2020, we had 18 players that weren't playing in 2020. So we had massive sort of force of leaders after the success period and players, and it has been a bit of a rebuild, but I think we've got an attractive club to a good family feel, and the boys actually a good feel, though we're not winning on the ground amongst the lads that have played together for a couple of years. So
you've got a lot of young players playing at the moment as well. So there's that thing where they start winding up Waffle, and they come back as a North Albany as a destination club.
Yeah, most definitely. You've seen Haytap, haven't we? Through AFL and Waffle, but
I see McGovern back.
Well, here Mouth must be
Does Cam?
ready to come back to them, I'm sure. And winded up Claire.
Oh, I think Morris is half our arms. Yeah.
Lacey and Rory was Dolly and there's bits of them, but it's good. We were development club which developed one kid and give we want to see him go and do.
Okay. Russell, thanks for your time. We'll let you go. We appreciate your time and having that. And all the rest.
Thank you.
And welcome to North Albany. We've had the president, we've had the coach. Not sure who was shooting for Monday. If you
Did we sign?
we knew Mark of the year. We really had to pass it them to Phillips. So.
We appreciate Russell. Appreciate Russell here in the owner of Retrofit Albany, who, as mentioned, sponsoring Monday. You've got a lead there on your phone, Ian. Fantastic game that we saw today here at Sounness Park. Just quickly, scores from other venues.
Oh, it's not up.
No, we don't have an update. So we've still got
updating.
We've still got a 5-point lead to Sharks 3/4 time over Raiders. So we'll be interested to see what happens there in the finish. But I think we're about done here.
Yeah, another beautiful 5-string game. Thanks to all those involved. And remember to watch the GSL Women and Final, which is online from last night.
Yeah.
It was a game.
Certainly a few people turned. Hey, we'll say thank you to Darren Bennett, Southern League umpire coming in.
No worries. Actually, it's a great experience. Thank you for having me. Even very late in it, but thanks.
No,
Team for the invite as well.
and I think especially on umpire appreciation, we good to have that perspective and great to have insight. And Beck,
We appreciate it having umpire.
yeah, thank you for you as well, Beck, the operations manager at the GSFL.
Mark, yes, and another game.
Yes, it was.
13 this show, I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It was an 18-point victory to Mount Barker. They've had out North Albany in round 4 of the Rainbow Cup Insurance Broker Point Insurance Match of the day. Thank you very much for your company and to all our technical staff as well. Dutch certainly running a tight ship here to bring you some community footy, entry footy, which is just brilliant. And I look forward to being back next week. My name's Mark Foreman. Thank you for your company. We'll see you there.